What you're listening to is a nearly 3-hour discussion between 3 friends about the newly released Kingdom Hearts 3. It will encompass everything, including story details. However, we will not spoil the game until further into the video. If you haven't finished yet and want to remain spoiler-free, you can safely watch until the point at which we warn you about spoilers and prompt you to leave. I will also leave detailed timestamps in both the description and the pinned comment below the video. Feel free to discuss spoilers in the comments below, but try to be courteous and tag your comment followed by paragraph breaks. Those who wish to avoid spoilers may wish to avoid the comments altogether. Additionally, what you and I consider a spoiler may differ. For instance, before we reach our spoiler section, we talk in depth about the Disney worlds and the stories within them because it doesn't have much bearing on the Kingdom Hearts plot in itself. If you consider any of that a spoiler, tread lightly. This is taken from a podcast I run called The Well-Deserved Funcast. Links in the description if you're interested. The parties involved are me, Liam Triforce, and Boldly Wired. My co-hosts are great content creators who you should definitely check out. Links in the description as always. Enjoy the discussion. A comprehensive retrospective will come eventually, but hopefully this will be enough to tide you over until then. So the promised week has arrived, and Kingdom Hearts 3 has come and gone, and the 3 of us have played it. Me and Liam and Abdullah of... I almost confused your channel name with somebody else that is very similar. Boldly Wired.
And here we are with Racevic.
No, I was going to say Core Ideas. Do you know him?
Oh,
yeah.
For some reason, I confuse your names. I don't know what it is. I think it's like... They're the same. They're like 2 words that both are like.
Yeah.
You know, but
I can see it.
It's because we all make the same videos.
Oh god. Holy shit.
That including me. Like,
did it just get real in here or something? I don't like the atmosphere anymore.
We're all hacks. That's what he's trying to say.
It's true. Yeah.
So
I'm useless.
We're here to talk about Sora and his Goofy movie. I don't know why they didn't put Goofy movie in Kingdom Hearts 3. They should have done that.
That actually would have been...
dude!
They may as well. Because they did the black and white Mickey world in... What game was it? Kingdom Hearts 2?
2.
Yeah.
They'll go to the Goofy movie world and be like, Goofy, you have a son?
But no, the other Goofy should be there.
Oh my god. But that's even better because I can actually envision that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go to the Goofy movie world, and Goofy's like, "What, Gwarsh?
What are you doing?
Why is there another me?"
Oh no.
I can. Is it sad that I can envision that happening? Like,
no,
it's not
I
sad.
as well.
We've all adjusted to this happening.
Yeah.
This is a reality.
Okay, so this is a Kingdom Hearts 3 discussion, but before we go in proper. By the way, we're not going to jump into spoilers at the start. I figure we should probably let people off easy. Let them listen to some of it in case they haven't played it.
With that said,
nice. Okay.
Nice. So, yeah. Good disclaimer.
We're going to go into what I figure we should start with our backgrounds of the series. So y'all, I'm not even Southern. I don't know where that came from, but so that everybody can understand where we're coming from. So, Abdullah, you in a previous timeline have decided that I should go first. So,
okay,
I'll go first. I've been with this series since the first game came out in 2002, I think, which is a long time ago. And I was with it since the first game, but I didn't like dive into the heart, as it were, until Kingdom Hearts 2, where that was where I like swan dived into everything. Because I did play Kingdom Hearts and Chain of Memories a lot, But Kingdom Hearts 2 was where I was sold. That's where I was like, okay, Nomura, take me.
It was
Take me where
probably
you want
also
to
when
take
you were
me.
conscious enough to register that you were
Yes.
playing a video game. Because like in 2002, how old would you have been?
4, I think.
Yeah, pretty young.
Wow.
Actually, it might have been 5. Well,
Oh my
no,
God.
it depends on what month it came out, but I was either 4 or 5.
I mean, that's still pretty young, though.
You were basically 5,
Yeah.
so
I mean,
that's
I
practically legal.
I have memories of like exploring Traverse Town, but I never beat the game. So, you know, but
Well, yeah.
I have technically been with the series that long. And I've been through it. Through all of its interesting things that happened, all the releases it had. I followed it somehow. I pieced the story together with like the fucking, what's that expression? The like through the something about teeth. You know that expression?
Oh,
The skin of my teeth.
Yeah, it was something like that. Basically, it was fucking hard, and I pieced it all together because back in my day, when I was when I was a youngster, there wasn't a PS4 collection. There was no way to piece this story together eloquently. I just had to read wiki pages every day and try and figure out what happened. And I realized recently that I have an old man moment now, where you two both experienced it almost at the same time in a very streamlined, convenient way, and I'm like, I was so jealous. Like, I was like, Jesus Christ, why couldn't I have gone through that? But I think it created an interesting, like, I think because I had to struggle through it, I'm more connected with it because I think I've been with it for like 16 years probably. So
yeah.
Yeah. It's basically
I forged a
yours is like
fucking bond with it.
yours is like a more complicated and warranted version of people trying to piece together the Zelda timeline when I was growing up. Because back then, even I was like, guys, they may have some relation to each other, but they're individual. Like,
Yeah.
that's the reason they exist as individual plots, you know? They like, Wind Waker obviously is a follow-up to what happens in the adult timeline of Ocarina, and same Majora is a follow-up, obviously, to when he gets sent back. But, like, other than that, they tell their own story, you know?
Yeah.
And that's but Kingdom Hearts is different. Kingdom Hearts, you need to play all of these games.
Yeah.
Well, except for Coded. But
Speaking of playing all the games, haha, Liam, what is your experience with the series?
Ooh,
well, yeah,
transitioning.
that's right. Because Dan, I think before that talked to us like just on and off.
I am
about-
the prophet, the word of our Lord,
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts, trying to spread the good word.
That was that for a couple years actually, because I think when we didn't know where your username came from, and when we learned, that was our first inkling that you may like the series.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
So
I mean,
and-
I cried several times playing this dumb video game that came out, so that might tell you something, but, you know, I might like it a little bit.
Yeah, I bought the back before the PS4 collections were a thing. I bought the PS3 ones on Amazon, and I intended to go to just play through them all. Oh, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before that, I found the PS2 version of the first game at a thrift store, and I went home and played it, and I got through Dive into the Heart, and as soon as Sora got swallowed by the giant Heartless, it was black with just the ocean in the background. Like, the screen was black, and all that I could hear
remember the story
were the
that
waves.
you've told this, I remember that.
And I was every time it happened, and I took it back to the store, and they didn't see any scratches on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "What is happening?" So I that's why I didn't play it for a while, because I was distraught, and I just had to wait until the next collection came out, and when it did, I forgot that I was going to play that series. So 2016, I finally did start the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the beginning of the hellish journey. I like the first game, just right off the bat. I think it's a good video game.
Which one?
The first game, the Kingdom Hearts.
Okay. I was a little lost. I was like, okay.
Did I cut out?
No, I was
Did I
I was
stutter?
lost because I thought you were talking about the series, and then you said it was a good game, and I was trying. I don't know. That's my fault.
I like them all, man.
That's my fault. Kingdom Hearts. the series is good game. Yes.
So, are you like? Do you need help? So I finished the first one after because I moved on because I guess I just that's right. I got kind of sick of it for some reason. I don't recall what it was, but I guess I just wanted to move on.
Well, I think even fans admit that Kingdom Hearts 1 is
It's far from perfect.
it's kind of a growing pain trying to play it again.
It's there's a couple things that I find amusing about that though too. For one, Kingdom Hearts was like, even when that game came out, it started to define ARPGs in general, and its influence can still be seen to this day. And I know it really needed time to grow, but it's true that Kingdom Hearts was a big deal in terms of gameplay. But at the same time, yeah, it's not perfect. I think it has to do with just pacing.
I mean, I have a fondness for it, but trying to get people into the series is where it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, what is also painful is that is one of my top 3 games.
Wait, the first one?
The first one is number 3.
Oh, damn.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Pretty much, other than 1, 2, and 3, I don't like any of them.
Oh, you're talking... Okay. You're talking about the series. I thought you were talking about of all time.
No,
yeah,
sorry,
I thought that too.
No.
Okay, that makes more sense.
No, but since I was converted, I all 1, 2, and 3 are my favorite games ever made.
Converted. It's an apt term.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Yeah, well, I played them in order, though, after I learned about the story. I did go back and finish 1 because I had a lot of fun with it after going back. And Rechain sucks. Mm-hmm. Rechain is either boring or infuriating for me. Mm-hmm. Like, the combat has its merits, but it's like, it just doesn't work most of the time. It's reliant on RNG, and I fucking hate that. RNG should not be the number one thing that drives a video game. It can be part of, a game's design, like Mario Party. That's part of the reason why Mario Party is fun, but not what it revolves around. That's not good. Mm-hmm. Following Rechain was actually pretty easy story-wise, though.
Yeah.
Because the problem is if you jump straight into 2, you're confused. Like, because if you skip Rechain, you will lose a lot. But conceptually, yeah, it's pretty easy. 2 is also relatively easy, considering the series was going straight forward from there.
Yes.
And by the way, rest assured, Kingdom Hearts 2 is in that top 3. Like, it actually, I think Kingdom Hearts 2 might be one of my favorite games now that I think about it. Because I've played it again on Critical, and it's pretty fucking good. Mm-hmm. It has like,
yes,
it has
definitely.
It has some really compelling aspects to it. Its boss design is some of the best I've seen in a video game, and it's just a good time, really. It has some good story beats too, especially. And it's odd considering the series that we're talking about, but Kingdom Hearts 2 seems the most beefy when it comes to story beats and just emotion.
Yeah.
Especially after the games that preceded it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kingdom Hearts 1 set up a pretty tragic storyline. But yeah, it's just a good game. But from there, no, I don't think I like any of the other ones. Following the story wasn't too difficult. There were things like, because we have these collections now, like Dan said, it's much easier. But there are details that Nomura just, I think, either retconned poorly or he just the art explained very well. But he's very good at doing it.
He retroactively placed cutscenes in some games.
Yeah.
Especially in 1 and 2, he put cutscenes in there that better explain future games.
Yeah.
So I feel like he didn't have it all worked out in the beginning.
Yeah, there's like...
Which I don't necessarily mind, it's just I don't think he did.
The fact that he did work out things the way he did is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like, he is really good at connecting plot threads. Some of them need work, but, like, he's really fucking good at stringing you along. But, like, in terms of the games, though, like, the story's really impressive. I could actually go on about how good Nomura is at telling a story. Mm-hmm. But, well, I think 3 is the culmination of that, and we'll get to that, but, basically, like, 358, it's, like, it's fine if you play it on the go, but its mission structure is, like, it's designed from that. You can't play it in, like, one quick sitting. It's a fine game if you play it like that, and Dan just made a video on why that structure is important to connecting with the characters, and, to be honest, I actually kind of got that vibe when I played it, too. It's just... I don't really take my DS Lite with me very often, and I have it on an R4 card that only works on my DS Lite, so... I mean, what? No, it's because I don't own any other DS systems. I'm not a pirater.
None of us have ever pirated games.
No, never. Emulation? Don't do that. That's fucking illegal, dude. No, it's, yeah, it's alright, though. The other games in the series, it's just like, I don't really like Birth by Sleep because I don't like the command deck, coded as a joke, and I don't really like Dream Drop Distance because Flow Motion completely breaks the game. Mm-hmm. And it's just, so basically, some of the bosses are mindless.
So like, up to KH2, and I guess somewhat Days, you're pretty okay with it, but like, I guess besides Chain of Memories.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was content with the series, but then not only did it take a downward spiral gameplay-wise, but the story started going crazy. Mm-hmm. Which, I was entertained by the story, and that's why I kept playing. Dream Drop Distance fucked me up, but, like...
it was an interesting experience.
I'm already half Xehanort.
Well, now I feel like Abdullah should probably give his 2 cents, where he's come from.
Yeah,
Let's build your backstory.
I don't remember when the first time I played KH1 was. It wasn't last year. I think it was late 2017. But I remember I played it, and I just didn't like it. I was like, I don't get why anyone plays this. I don't care. But, like, I don't care that... I think I got up to, like, Alice in Wonderland. I was like, I really don't care about what's happening right now. Like, nothing's been explained. I don't, whatever. And then I stopped playing it, and then I restarted it in... I don't remember what triggered me, what caused me to restart it, the series. It's just, like... I think 3's first trailer came out at E3 or something like that. Not first trailer, but I guess, like...
A trailer.
Yeah, a trailer for it came out. I think it was the one with Tangled. And I was like, I'll give it another shot. That was 2015, I believe. Oh, really?
No, wait, no.
Well, Tangled got revealed. Tangled got revealed pretty early on.
It was.
It was that then. Yeah, okay. So it might have been like Toy Story or Monsters Inc.
It may have been Toy Story, yeah. But I was like, I'll just give it a shot, whatever. Go back to it. And I went back to it. I played up to... What's the Little Mermaid world? And then I stopped playing for like another month. And then okay, whenever I stop I don't know why this happens. It happened with like Ratchet and Clank 2 as well, and a bunch of other games. I'll stop playing a game, and then I'll come back to it like a month later, and I'll just suck at the game until the very end. So it took me like a day to beat Ansem. Not a day, but like a good chunk of time to beat Ansem, like a few hours. And it was just I at the end of the game I was like, I'm glad this is over. But I had the whole collection at that point on PS4, so I was like, I may as well just play Rechain. And Rechain, I got really good RNG, so I didn't mind it. But
yeah, it's the best.
Yeah. So and then I played 2, and I played the rest, and I don't know. I mean, I was doing it all. I played all of it after 1 last year. So in 2018, Because at that point I thought the game was coming out in 2018, and then they delayed it, and I was like, great. I rushed myself.
That was the only delay. Only one.
No, yeah, I know. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. Like,
no, I mean, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to idiots.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that includes you, but I'm talking to other idiots.
Thank you. But,
Got it. Segregation.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. I played it all because I was like, it's coming out this year and it looks cool. So I may as, and the combat looked like, because I remembered playing 1, and I looked at the trailer for 3, and there was like running up walls and like so many combos and different spells, and I was like, that looks more fun, so I want to get there. But I understood from Dan that I couldn't get there unless I had understood the story, which meant playing the games. So
I forgot to mention 0.2 entirely. That game rejuvenated my interest in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, that game I played that demo after, like, right the night after I beat or the night of me beating Dream Drop Distance. And Dream Drop Distance was like, it was like I took like LSD or something. It was just very weird. Like,
was.
In like, relative to the series, it's pretty weird, which is saying a lot. So yeah, and then I played 0.2 and I was like, yeah, this is really fun. I can't wait to play 3. And then I played 3. That's it.
So basically, I've been with it for my entire life. And I guess I feel like I like every game to some extent, except for Chain of Memories and Recoded. That's about it. Like, I am probably an apologist for Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance at this point, because I like them enough.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm coming from. Liam and Abdullah both got into it recently.
Yeah.
It's just important to establish that all of us know, none of us are like going into it blind. We all caught up at some point in our lives, and
because this game is a sequel.
Yes.
Can I play 3 without playing 1 and 2? Or
this is probably going to be some people's first Kingdom Hearts game because they were too dumb to look
for fucking God
up.
Bless their souls. Like,
yeah.
You know what? It'll make sense until they get to the end.
Yeah. It's funny. I follow some people who are playing it after having not played it until since Kingdom Hearts 2. And the way the game's structured, they can probably enjoy themselves for a while.
Yeah.
So, I wonder if that's intentional.
Maybe.
Speaking of, I figure we should branch into a discussion of the actual game. I want to reiterate, spoiler discussion will probably be saved for the end of the podcast. I'm gonna put timestamps just so you can jump around if you want. And we won't discuss the spoilers. I don't know what you consider spoilers, but we won't discuss plot details until the end of it. So,
like Disney plot details or actual Kingdom Hearts plot details?
Actual.
No, Disney's part of the plot.
Actual Kingdom Hearts details. I don't think people care about.
So we can talk about Disney plots.
Yes, there are some things I don't want to talk about the things that happen at the end alongside Disney stuff.
Okay.
Speaking of, I think we should just talk about the Disney worlds in general.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, people are loud upstairs. You can start this, okay?
Okay, Liam's gonna go kill some people who are loud. What I want to discuss really is, what do you think of... First of all, what do you think of the choices of Disney worlds?
So inconsiderate.
Like the choices of the worlds they picked?
Yes. Compared to other games or just in general?
I mean, Olympus was a given because we knew that before.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, I found Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., and Big Hero 6 to be the coolest. Because those are just, you wouldn't...
Those are my favorite worlds, probably.
Yeah, because, I mean, in 1, I think it was exclusively Princess Worlds, wasn't it?
No, that was Birth by Sleep. Well, that was a lot of Birth by Sleep.
Because
one was...
My favorite Disney princess is Lilo.
Well, that's why I said a lot of it. One
Sorry,
was...
I meant Stitch.
Okay, so one had... Tarzan didn't have a Princess of Heart in it.
Oh, right.
Neither did Olympus Coliseum. Neither did, Halloween Town or all that. So, they're
oh, right, yeah.
It was... The Princesses of Heart were important to the plot, but, A lot of it was just kind of scattershot.
I think I never. Oh, never mind. That's off topic. I don't know. Big Hero 6, Toy Story, and Monsters Inc. were the coolest for me in this game. Fucking, my least favorite would have to be Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, that was. I hate so much about that world. Seriously, like, plot wise, it's just so uninteresting. Like, fucking Jack Sparrow is made of crabs now. I didn't understand that at all. And then the gameplay is like I appreciate the effort, I really do, and I'm not saying that in like a patronizing way of like, oh, they're game developers, they like tried their best. It's like whatever, like that kind of tone. I mean that I appreciate the fact that they tried to offer something new, but the ship combat system and controlling the ships, it felt like go-kart racing.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you. That was
I didn't like anything in that world at all.
I liked the uncanny valley factor of how good the visuals were. Like, in some of the cutscenes, I was creeped out by how good they were.
Yeah, it looks very good. It has no right to look as good as it does.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
I really like that world. I don't know, like, sans the part where you collect crabs, which is, I will admit, is not the finest moment of this video game. But because Nomura is crazy, collecting crabs actually links into a gameplay part later because he's fucking crazy. But, like, there's an actual reason you collect crabs because you, like, it's just... Anyway, so...
What's the reason?
There's a point where you collect things in one of the endgame worlds.
Wait, what?
Sorry.
And I'm pretty sure the reason that you collect those things is because he set it up where you collect crabs. I'm convinced that's what he was trying to do.
Okay.
Because he's done it before. Like, the Atlantica gameplay in Kingdom Hearts 1 was used past Atlantica for other control schemes. Mm-hmm. Like, even the final boss incorporated that control scheme. Like, that's just the way... I think that's the way that he works. He's a very strange man. But I liked the rest of the Pirates world because I don't know if I minded the fact that the ship combat was there. Like, it was simple, but the fact that it wasn't the entire game was kind of why I liked it. I liked going to the different islands and stuff because there are some secret islands you can go on to get a lot of chests and stuff.
That's my favorite part of that world, honestly.
Yeah.
Exploring the ocean.
See, that just speaks to what kind of players we are, because I only visited 3 islands, and those were the mandatory ones. So, that I guess...
I mean, I didn't visit all of them, but... Because on my first playthrough, I was very like, I want to get to the end, but...
Yeah.
I'll tell you what did encourage me to go seeking out these islands, too. Lucky emblems.
Yes. Lucky emblems are very good.
This is probably my favorite part about the game. Well, it is one of my favorite parts. So I kind of want to mention that I pretty much agree that San Francisco and Toy Box are like my favorite worlds in the game. Mm-hmm. And so probably my favorite worlds in the series. They are so cool.
Fucking... Mm-hmm. I think Toy Box is my favorite world in the game. Like, in any of the games. Toy Box is like... And I think it's because it connects with... When I was a kid, I loved Toy Story, first off. And I loved the Toy Story video game on PS1, Toy Story 2. Toy Box is designed for the fact that everybody's small, and they take really good advantage of that. But it reminds me so much of the video game that already did that.
Yeah.
And that just like adds to the nostalgia.
But you put that level design into a game with combat that you already love.
Yeah,
and
exactly. It's so good. I love that world so much.
And good music,
It's
too.
so
well,
big.
You Got a Friend in Me, I've heard a million times in my life, but the battle music is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music is a whole other topic that I feel like we should save for spoiler territory.
Yeah.
But, anyway, I wanted to talk about Lucky Emblems real quick. For those of you that have been to Disney World, you may have heard of Hidden Mickeys, and these are just all over the park. Imagineers just placed them in really cool like areas that you wouldn't think to see them. For example, this is I'm gonna Hidden Mickey spoiler. There's a Hidden Mickey in the Toy Story Resort where there's like Mickey symbols. What? There are Mickey symbols on every little token on the ground, and that alone is not that special. But then you go into a corner, and you see that they're lined up in such a way that they make a bigger Mickey head. And apparently, according to the park and the book that gives out cryptic hints towards the hidden Mickeys, that is an official hidden Mickey. It's just I was not talking out of my ass when I was 9. That was a real hidden Mickey. My dad was like, "Hey, holy shit, you found one." He even said, no, he didn't. But yeah, no. that feeling was they attempted to emulate that in Kingdom Hearts 3, and they did that really, really well.
Yeah,
and I mean really well.
Until I talked to you, I didn't even know that this was a thing that existed previously anywhere. I thought they just came up with it. Because I haven't been to Disney World since I was young, very young, to the point where I didn't remember. So I don't know.
I asked my brother if he remembered anything, and he didn't. It was a very long time ago. I forget that he's young still. Anyway, yeah, no, it was like. The difference here is that Kingdom Hearts 3 actually rewards you for finding these things with different items and armor and shit. So, I was obsessively looking for these things at one point. And they placed them really cleverly too. And just like the park, they're like weird perspective tricks that you wouldn't think of before. And that gets to the point where you're starting to see lucky emblems everywhere. But they're not actually there.
Too. I would see stuff, even like shadows, and I'd be like, "That's an emblem," and it wasn't. It wasn't an emblem, but I thought it was, because I was just going crazy.
Does Mickey Mouse's head count as a lucky emblem? Like if you take a picture of him?
No, actually, in Toy Box, there's a stopwatch thing. Well, I guess it's more like a wristwatch, but it has Mickey on it, and I was like, "Oh, if I take a picture of his head, it doesn't really count because his head is like sideways." But I thought that would have been clever. No, it didn't. That's like because his head was sideways, I think. But
game sucks. We should move on.
But yeah, that contributes kind of to the level design being as good as it is in the Disney worlds.
I think it absolutely does.
For as much as some of them are weaker, I think they're only weaker for plot-related reasons. I think all of them have good level design. I think, in my opinion. Because
I would agree with that.
I had a lot of fun playing all of them. I'll just say that.
They're really good.
Yeah, I love the bosses in them. Especially fucking pirates. You fight Barbossa. That was like... that was I love that.
Wait, the final boss? In Pirates?
Yeah, where you fight Barbossa.
Barbossa. Okay.
Whoever the guy is that I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but he's the guy who looks like an octopus. But he's not named Barbossa's actually good in that, but I don't know who he's like. What the fuck is his name? Is he Davy Jones or something?
I was gonna say I thought he was Davy Jones, but I wasn't really following the plot.
I have not seen the second and third movie. Any of like. The last time I watched Pirates was like the new one, and I think the first one, and he wasn't in any of those, so I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but he's the guy who looks like an octopus. I love that fight. That fight's really good.
Yeah, that was great. This game has really good bosses.
Yeah, and I like that the wolf thing you fight in Frozen. That thing was really cool. But that's what I'm saying basically, is that it was really fun playing them. They have a lot of cool ideas. There's a palace in the Frozen world that I didn't even know you would go to because it wasn't in the trailers really. Yeah. There's like this really cool, it looks really cool, where you're inside this weird fortress thing that's like a maze. It's not really a maze because it's not that hard to navigate, but they kind of set it up like it's a maze. There are secrets. There are secret chests that are hidden very well, I think. And there are some that wasn't even really obvious how I could get to them. And that's where the chests and this lucky emblems, for once in a Kingdom Hearts game, I actually felt like going after all of them and completing Jiminy's journal, because the level design was good enough to warrant that. You're not just walking down like very small hallways anymore. Yeah. There's a lot more to focus on in Kingdom Hearts 3. And I guess you could say that Dream Drop Distance kind of set that up
I was going to mention the exact same thing. Dream Drop Distance, say what you want about it, but the level design was really cool with flow motion. Yeah. You could explore so much of those worlds based on the platforming that was an exploration that was available to you. Yeah, it was so much fun, like scaling buildings in the Hunchback of Notre Dame level.
I think that predicated how good it is in Kingdom Hearts 3, because that's when they really started to amp up their game. Because in Birth by Sleep, it was kind of like, it's kind of whatever. But
we don't talk about that level design.
Although, to be fair, in terms of like the actual level layout, it's not much different from how Kingdom Hearts 2 was.
Yeah.
It's in just Birth by Sleep or in 3?
In Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
But definitely not in 3. 3 has very good level design.
No, yeah.
And that's why I think the Disney worlds are all really fun. And I think that all the choices were good too. I don't know how you feel about like what they actually brought in. If you would have preferred any other, because compared to other games, maybe there maybe like
like if I had preferred other worlds,
like basically, what do you think of what they included based on the other games and like just your own preferences?
Well, I thought it was really cool because I mean I don't really care what they bring in. Like they could bring in like fucking. I've never seen whatever Halloween Town is from.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
You ever seen that movie?
No, I never seen that movie.
To be fair, I've only seen it once in my life, and it was a little while ago, so.
And, like, I still enjoyed that world in Kingdom Hearts 2. I don't remember playing it at all in 1. I don't know if it was, like, an optional world or something, but I have no memory of it. But
you could have just blocked it out of your memory like I did with most of this series, except for the story.
I think that world is optional in Kingdom. Well,
yeah, because like I remember getting
there's at least one optional world in that game. I remember.
Yeah, I got to that world in 2, and he was like, "Oh, it's Jack," and I'm like, "Who?" Like I didn't remember anything about the story from the first game, and I still don't. So, but I mean, I don't know. They could have included like whatever, and I would have been happy with it. It's just the way they handle it is the part I don't like. They have so many cutscenes, and especially Entangled and Frozen. I think it was just those two. Like it is 1-to-1 a recreation of the movies, and
yeah, that's where I was like, okay,
I was like, come on, like
it's impressive that you can do this, but this isn't really why I'm here.
Yeah, like I mean, I get that they didn't want to focus on the actual Kingdom Hearts story until the end. That is like a whole separate issue I have with the game.
They still kept Toy Story interesting by giving it its own plot.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. Is that it wasn't like
I was pretty engaged with it all when like I'm okay. This is probably controversial, but I'm kind of okay with the way that Nomura kind of shoves it all at the end. And that's just because I like how climactic it feels that everything's fucking happening at the end. And plus because I feel like if he sprinkled in too much that it would spread it all too thin, if you know what, like, I feel like that you'd be like, oh my god, like, so much crazy stuff is happening. It's like, oh, but now go to Arendelle. Like, that would be a little strange. So I kind of get why he does it the way he does.
I'll save what I have to say about that for the end, because I can't say anything without
And I think that it works when the Disney worlds are actually written well. And I think that he was onto something in Toy Box, Monstropolis, and I'm trying to call them by their official names, but
San Francisco.
Yeah. So those were all pseudo. They're not like they're original stories. Is the point? They're like they're telling stories that are not just regurgitating the movie plots, which is why they were very interesting.
Yeah.
And that's why I like those worlds the most.
I also like that San Francisco got the voice cast back, the entire one from the movie. Including T.J. Miller, which surprised me.
Yeah.
The Wasabi's voice actor was different.
I thought, really?
Yeah, he was. I think he may have been the only one that was different because I recognize the other voices, but I'm
then
sure
you're probably right. Then.
Yeah.
There must have been one that was different.
But
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with some of these replacements, though. First of all, it's unlikely that Tom Hanks would have ever agreed because his agent would have been like, "Give me $20 million." But like that's just how it works. His brother did Woody, which it's fun that he hands his brother the voice work, but you know, how it works.
I think he did a pretty good job as Woody, all things considered.
He did. Yeah. He did. No, yeah.
It didn't really it didn't take me out of it, really. Like
that's the thing.
You could tell it was different, but it didn't bother me that much.
The thing is, these replacements have actually voiced these characters in other media for a while now. Yeah. Buzz's replacement, at least since the video game in 1999.
Probably,
I think. Yeah. So they've been around, and they're really good. They didn't get actually, not getting John Goodman surprised me because he has voiced Sully in the games before, but they replaced him, and I couldn't tell for a second. Like I actually thought it was John Goodman until he said like something that was like the tone was weird, and I was like, is that John Goodman or is it not? The fact that they were able to, it was, I forget his name. Shit, I wanted to credit him, but he was really good at his job. You can look it up. It's like, fucking Google it.
I'm assuming Billy Crystal did not voice Mike Wazowski.
No.
Okay.
It was the guy that voiced Rocco in Rocco's Modern Life. It was Carlos Alazraqui, who I believe at one point voiced Crash Bandicoot.
But I mean, that's just a testament, really, to the fact that I couldn't even tell that there was a difference. Is just a testament to the voice actors.
They are all really good. Randall's replacement was not very good. He was good at performing, but it was not. It was not a good Buscemi.
Yeah.
Steve Pastrami.
That also, can I say that I loved Monsters Inc., the story of it all, and I liked everything that was happening.
Yeah.
I kind of wish Vanitas showed up more than he did.
That is another thing I wish that happened with the Disney Worlds in general, is that except for maybe Pirates, to give credit where credit is due, there's like the organization members that show up in the worlds are just sort of, they show up and they're like, oh, we need this information for, like, in what was it? Which one was it? Toy Box. They were like, we need to know if, what was it? Like, if we can rip the heart away from someone. It was something like, we need to know. It was basically they needed to know something about hearts and how they work for the end of the plot. And I don't think it ever came back up. Like, they were just like, we need to know if this can happen, and it happens, and then they're like, okay, haha, we're evil still, and then they leave. And like, even Sora points this out. Sora points out in like, what world was it? I think it was with Vanitas in Monsters Inc. He was like, are you just gonna say something menacing and leave? I'm like, yeah, that's because that's pretty much what they do. Like, they have no impact on these worlds, yet they're still showing up and spending like 5 minutes in each cutscene, like being like, we're here for a reason, even though...
Admittedly, this was probably the game where the presence of the villains... Because I don't think the Disney Worlds were pointless, but I think the presence of the villains were the weakest in this one. Because a lot of the time, they, like... I guess ironically, Frozen and Tangled had the most reason for them to be there.
Yeah.
Like, that was the most justifiable reason. But then everywhere else, especially, like, Big Hero 6, which was like a mindfuck and a half. Like,
yeah.
Which I don't even know, like, if I should go into it all, but I might as well just save that for the end. I feel like, but what I liked most about them is, one, I think that's what makes them work is that Sora, I almost said Stora. Sora is still kind of learning stuff from it and making new friends, and I enjoy watching him go on whimsical adventures. I'm not sure if anyone else does, but it's amusing to me, so that's kind of why I enjoy them.
I treated the worlds like episodic visits to these movies, and like they had their own isolated narrative, and that's why I like them.
That's why I think they're the strongest when they have original stories.
Yeah. No, yep.
Because it complements Sora's going there a lot better than it does when the movie's just playing out. And like they're singing Let It Go, and then Sora has to react to it.
Yeah,
That just feels weird.
It's like when Eugene dies at the end of Tangled and Sora's in the window just staring.
that was pretty.
That was like, it was just inserting him into movie plots was.
That's when it feels the most fanfiction-y, but not in a good way. It's in a good way is when like Woody is saying that he's like young Xehanort. He's like nobody ever loved you. When Sully picks up Vanitas and throws him through the
like
door.
50 doors.
That shit is really hype. I love that.
It's funny too that even though that happened, he could just warp.
Yeah, but you know it's
really
so funny that I'm watching that scene. I'm like, okay, so how are they gonna deal with Vanitas? And Sully just fucking like picks him up.
Oh man, this is the more of the stuff that I wanted to see out of these plots.
Yeah.
We got a good amount of it. I mean,
yeah, like to be fair, I even liked Jack drunkenly stumbling around in the Pirates of the Caribbean world. That was fun. I liked interacting with him. Yeah, see, I liked that because they took it in a different kind of direction. They did recap the movie, sort of, but they didn't do it as much. Like, what they focused a lot more on, I don't even know who that character was. She was like, I think she was Cersei.
I forget her name. Damn
she was someone before, and then they found out she was Cersei. But basically, she was a witch, and she created a Jack Sparrow that was just kind of her projection of him. And it amused me because a lot of that world was just Sora, Donald, and Goofy, and Jack just going on pirate adventures and then like battling Luxord, apparently.
Luxord. It's always Luxord. Fucking
Luxord. Which is apparently how you pronounce that. So I liked that. I liked that a lot. Like, that did not bother me as much as Frozen and Tangled, honestly. Because I think there was enough there that was different. And it was just kind of focused on going around doing pirate stuff.
Yeah.
There was a lot less of, like, the exact same cutscene. You know? Like, it was still there, but...
I mean, I don't know. For me, it was just... And it wasn't with those two... Well, those two specific worlds aside. Like, in general, it was more just that... I don't know, I think my issue was a mix of the fact that it's okay, the way I see it is that other games in this series have all been setting up this game, really, and then you come to this game and it's like 20 hours of not acknowledging the main plot at all. I mean, they acknowledge it, but like there's nothing happens really. And just when you think something, like I can mention, well, okay, if it is relevant to the main plot, but it happened in one of the Disney worlds, but like in between the Disney worlds, can we mention that?
I mean, at this point, then yeah, that's probably fine.
Okay, so like, it's at the very beginning of the game.
well, that helps.
Yeah, but like, I don't remember where in the beginning. It's just before you get to the third and fourth worlds. Riku and Mickey go to the Realm of Darkness to find Aqua, and they're just like, no, we gotta leave. Like, like why? Like, why did you write that in?
I remember that. Oh.
Like, why did you write that in? Why did they, like, it's just these things that...
It was to set up other Riku.
But, like, I don't... And then later, they all go to, like, Yensid's... Or no, oh my god, my favorite thing about this story was that, like, Kairi and Axel are in a separate world that does not exist within the limits or constraints of time. Yet, they still take until the end of the game to get their keyblades. Or their training done.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't, like, what... Like, it's just weird.
There's actually... we should probably front-load the problems with the story before we get into the meat. When we get to that. Because...
I mean,
one
yeah,
of the things
we'll get
we're going to talk about is relevant to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to all that.
I'll tell you one thing, though, about the visits to the worlds. I come to Kingdom Hearts because I like the gameplay. And these episodic visits to these Disney worlds, only in these movies I enjoy, only enhanced how much fun I was having with these mechanics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel similarly.
That's why I liked 2 so much, because they were really goofy interactions in these worlds, but I was also playing a very fun game.
I guess we can
that's
just launch into that. What do you what do you think about, let's say, like, the keyblade? I love the new keyblade mechanic for a start.
love it. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's awesome.
it's probably the best new thing gameplay wise that this game introduces. It's
Besides Lucky
so
Emblems.
cool. Yeah. Oh, that's good. But like combat wise, I guess.
Yeah.
There are so many things that you can do. Things that I was learning along my first playthrough, like the fact that, okay, first of all, the forms there a variety of them. Some of them are just reskins, but they have different, like, they're not the exact same. They'll have a different, like, second form or something, but there are a lot of them. There are a lot of forms. You can have 3 keyblades at a time and switch whenever you want. And the thing that I found the most fascinating, that I eventually began using a lot in combat, is the fact that you can store your form transformations when you switch. So, like, when you transform one of them into, like, the yo-yos, you can switch your keyblade and the yo-yo timer will stop when you switch. So you can store that transformation for later. And so what I did a lot with my keyblades is I would evolve them all, for lack of a better term, into a higher state. And then when that happened, like during a boss fight or something, I would go fucking ballistic. Like I would just unleash everything. I would be in second form and I'd get off like enough combos so I can do a finisher.
You get off from that.
I'd get off enough combos to do a finisher. Mid-combo, you can mid-combo switch, and it will store the place that you're in the combo. Like, if you're on your second hit and you switch, you'll continue with your second hit, but with a different keyblade. Like, you can do that shit. It's so cool. And you can do the same thing with magic. You can weave them all together. And what I ended up doing during a lot of boss fights, and even just heartless enemies, or unversed, or nobodies, or whatever, I would get them all evolved. I would be in second form, I'd do a finisher, and then I'd switch to, like, the arrow guns, and then I'd finish that off and do a whole bunch of cool stuff with that. And then I'd switch to my last one, which is, like, maybe the hammer, and I'd finish that one off. And it's just, like, this flurry of fucking spectacle that you can perform. And it changes so much about what you're doing in the moment, and you have so much control over it now that the command menu is just gone. So it's... I need more time with it before I can definitively say, like, compared to other games, but it's certainly up there. Like, it's really fun just for that alone. That's not even getting into some of the other stuff, but Keyblade switching-wise and the new, like, I hope that this continues forever, basically. This new mechanic of Keyblade forms. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I am curious about something, because I loved everything about the combat. I loved, like... I watched that video on the floatiness of, like, Birth by Sleep, and I was like, yeah, I agree, but I don't really care.
I felt the exact same way. I love Bloody Biscuits, by the way.
Yeah,
but, like,
he's great. Like, those videos that he has made, I disagree with stuff, but they're well-made videos, and he has a point. Like,
he has played these games so much, like,
it's true, it is floaty, but I was just like, I still had fun with it. So I think
they work around it. I think it's floaty for a reason.
I enjoyed everything in the combat in 3, except for one thing. And I'm curious to see what you guys think about it. Did you enjoy the Disney attraction attacks?
I mean, okay. I liked them, but I purposely didn't use them sometimes.
So, sometimes they're just not useful.
Yeah, but
you
I
have
think
options,
that the problem is that sometimes they break the flow a little too much.
Yeah.
To the point where you just stop wanting to use them sometimes.
Yeah. Because at the beginning, it's really cool because, like, the boss, the Titan, the Rock Titan, I think, he has, like, a specific, like, roller coaster attraction attack that you use on him, and it's like, it's really cool, and I really enjoyed the water slide one and all of that. And then
I didn't
later,
talk about how cool Olympus was as a world, and the fucking final boss of that world. Oh my god. Did we talk about that? Sorry,
what was the
that
final
was
boss?
The Titan.
The final boss was
fight.
the
Oh,
Titans.
right. I thought it was, I mean, it was, yeah, I guess
That
it was
boss,
cool.
that boss was really cool, but it was a little... When you fight the tornado, I was a little unclear at first what you were supposed to, like... Sometimes they were like, okay, you want to air step to this block so you can get closer to the tornado. And I'm like, okay. But sometimes the blocks just didn't appear. And I don't know if it's because they want you to just wait and do nothing, or if you're just supposed to do it in a, like, it was a little unclear. I was, because sometimes I just felt like I was floating towards him and then he'd run away. So, like, it was really cool, like, the scale of it and the spectacle. I liked it. It's just a little weird, like, but I liked it a lot.
I was clear. Are you sure you're not high?
I mean, then what are you supposed to do on it? Like, are you supposed to air step to him?
Well, you see, I didn't have a rebuttal. You can keep going.
Okay, great.
I was just confused. Like, he wasn't not fun. But he was just confusing at first. But which is kind of
Kingdom Hearts in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's boss-wise, in terms of the combat itself, sometimes I was like, what? Like, there's the boss Entangled?
Oh, fuck that boss. You mean the last one?
Yes. It was like...
Wait, what was wrong with it?
That was
it
like... attacks the tower.
Yeah, it's... The thing that I had with it is it just kind of flew around and, like, it felt like it was always away from me. Like, and everything that it did just... When it kept going into this weird phase where you jump through a hole, you jump through a hole behind you, and then you jump through a hole behind you again, and then it just stops doing that. And I don't know why. Like, it feel like it had very little purpose. And its attacks were really annoying to dodge, because it's so fucking big. It was very strange. Like, it was a weirdly conceived boss. I don't know.
I thought it was... I don't know. I don't remember having any issues with it, but...
Like, that's where some of the combat... Like, I really like it. It was fun. But sometimes it was a little strange. Like, because it kind of, like... Their faults as a development team kind of shine through sometimes. Like, I think they do a good job overall, but there are some bosses that are just a little... Like, this is probably their best stab at doing boss fights ever. Probably, because there are some really good ones. And they've gotten back to doing a lot of, like, dodging and you block, and there's a focus on blocking and dodging finally, and fucking bosses stagger for once. Like,
I missed that. Jesus Christ.
It's a huge fucking step forward from the previous games. But there's a little bit of it that, like, sometimes large enemies, it's a little hard to read what you're how you're supposed to dodge attacks when they're so big.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I really liked about Birth by Sleep's bosses is that they're not all, like... A lot of them are, but not all of them are big monsters. Sometimes you're just fighting a person. So, in this game, I was like, oh, Mother Gothel was revived. I guess I'm gonna fight, like, her, and she'll have, like, magic or whatever. And then, no, you're fighting her Heartless. Or, like... what was another example? Like, I thought I would be fighting... okay, like, Big Hero 6 was an excellent example because you're fighting Dark Baymax, not some, like, giant random creature that's been spawned. Or,
Dark Baymax.
Like, what was... I mean, I don't know what to fucking call him.
Well, no, it's just the concept.
I love how that world ends with 2 Baymaxes.
Yeah.
That's
it's like
right.
happy ending.
Can I keep one?
It's also so dumb. It's like, can you imagine if they made another movie and there were 2 Baymaxes?
There were, because it's Kingdom Hearts 3's sequel. What was the other boss I was going to mention? Toy Box and one other. Like, Toy Box, you're fighting, like... I thought it would be fighting, like, Buzz Lightyear. Instead, like, fucking Woody just grabs him in a cutscene, and then you're fighting a giant Heartless, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like it would be cool. Like, in Birth by Sleep, when you're just fighting Vanitas. You're not fighting some, like, monster he spawned that has, like, no impact on anything. Because you know you're going to kill it.
I do
But,
think
like-
this game needed some more humanoid bosses. Like
Yeah.
KH2 did them. KH2's humanoid bosses are what I'm talking about when I say it has some of the best boss fights in any game.
Yeah, like fighting the organization members in KH2 is really fun, but you
Yeah.
never get to fight them in this game. Well, like not until the end.
Oh, shut up! I mean,
Well,
what?
Obviously, that's not like
Yeah, I
really.
mean, like, it's not a spoiler
That's
to
not
say
really
that you,
a spoiler,
It's not a
sorry, yeah, that's
spoiler to
right.
say you fight the organization.
yeah.
I think that's a given.
Sorry, I'm
um,
a little sensitive.
Now, if you went out and said who they all were, then maybe that
Yeah,
was a spoiler.
yeah.
But like,
Remember, guys, I haven't finished this game.
Okay.
yeah. But you know, overall, I think it's a very big step for them. Like they've come a long way. I think the abilities are back finally. You have combo modifiers again.
Oh,
Not
man,
all
I
of
missed them.
not all of the combo finishers are good. There's one that like Sora puts his keyblade in the air. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What?
That one kind of sucks. It's a little slow.
Which one
but
is that?
I don't know if maybe you didn't put it on, but it's one where he ends a combo and he like throws his keyblade into the air and there's a blue light.
I don't
Is
recall.
that the
Are
one
they
where you throw
sequential?
enemies into the air, or?
Are combo modifiers
No.
sequential, or do you have to? Can you just equip whatever you want?
I think you can equip whatever you want. I think.
All right, so then you could just turn that off and turn another one on.
Yeah, you can. It's not like a huge
Gotcha.
problem, but you can turn
Yeah.
that off. You don't have to keep that on. But
That's right. Yeah, no, because I did that in 2. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, there are bad ones in 2 as well that you could turn off.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Oh
But
God.
basically, we're back to that, and it's really cool. Like
Yeah.
the fact that you can do that now is just really cool.
I
and
like
they've
not
added
spamming
stuff
Beluma.
onto it, like like double flight and
Yeah.
like air slide and stuff. They've added stuff that like
Stacking air slide is the best.
yeah, it's really cool. And the flow motion when you upgrade it, it's not as broken anymore because you have to upgrade it over the game. And the level design doesn't allow you to do things with it that you were able to do before, and they limit you to like certain jumps and stuff. So you can use it in combat whenever you want, and it doesn't feel like you like have to use it. And there's so much other stuff that you never really want to use flow motion unless the opportunity just comes up and you're like, yeah, I want to do something different. It's also good for crowd control. So it's like a tool. Flow motion is a tool now rather than something that is broken.
It's a tool rather than being second nature like breathing.
Yeah. So I prefer that. So I think it's done a real good job here, trying to bridge that gap.
I like
little,
exploring
like-
with flow motion too in this game. The fact
Yeah.
that they nerfed it makes exploring these massive worlds more compelling.
Yeah.
I think that because I don't know what you guys mean by honestly. I'm like, I played Dream Drop Distance and I just kind of mindlessly wandered through it, so I don't really remember anything about like what's
So
balanced and what's not. But
in Dream Drop Distance, exploring the world, you could just you dash onto a wall, jump off, dash back onto it, and that's how you climb. You just
Yeah.
rinse and repeat that, and that's you would climb worlds.
In Kingdom
Okay.
Hearts 3, they only let you do that like one time. Like, because
Yeah.
they first of all, you don't get the ability to jump after a flow motion for a while, and when you do, they only let you do it once until you hit the ground again.
I think the one thing that bugged me, because I didn't really use flow motion unless like it was necessary to climb a wall or something, but the one thing that it didn't bug me, I was just like, that's kind of weird, was that you can only climb certain walls now. But they say that, and then later, like, in, for instance, San Francisco, for instance, like, every wall is marked with flow motion indicators. So I'm like, what's the point? I mean, it's not like a bad thing. It didn't bug me. I was just like, I was just weirded out, but
Do you
not
mean
weirded out.
you
but-
mean running up the wall or?
Yeah, running up the wall.
Oh well, that's just normal.
No, but I mean, like, why did they at the beginning of the game? They made a point to be like,
Oh, they're just designated. Well, San Francisco was non-linear though.
I guess, yeah, but like, I guess, yeah. I don't know. I found it weird.
Okay.
I think it was just that San Francisco is different. It was like a big box instead of a
Yeah.
Yeah.
straight path. 'Cause I feel like if they just let you climb anything, it'd be a little weird.
Well, we'd be in DDD again.
Yeah, probably. Is that it for combat? Like, what else is there? Like,
The magic. Like the spells.
Spells are really good because
I think in 0.2 they also made a point that using magic would be emphatically satisfying.
Yes.
That just reminded me about the fact that situation commands exist it's a little weird, but they give you control over which ones you want to use, and you don't have to use them if you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy that. It's a lot better than command styles in Birth by Sleep, where you were forced into them.
Yeah.
Because like that was a good idea, but it was just they forced you into them. It was kind of like they fix anti-form in this game because they let you use it. Like
Yeah,
they
it's
don't,
not
you
just
don't
like,
force
oops,
you into
here you
it.
are.
So anti-form is actually fun to use if you want
Yeah.
to, because you can use it full well knowing that you can't use magic or items or anything.
There was a
And they-
time where I accidentally went into it on like one of the hardest bosses in the game, and it actually ended up saving me.
Same, except I died. I was.
It was
not
like
saved.
it was like my well, that happened too because I was an idiot, but like I used it as a last resort because I was just pressing button. I was really scared. I was like, oh god, I need to save myself. Tried to use cure, used rage form, and I was like, oh god, but it refilled my health, so I made the best of it and I won.
I really like the risk charge system
That too, yeah.
because it turns a previously frustrating mechanic into one that is now risk reward.
Yeah.
Where if you want to use it, you can, and it has really good combos that I've noticed. Like it's really fun to use, and I feel like it staggers more easily or something. Like you home in on enemies a lot easier. You get glide, you get a lot of good movement abilities. So it's good for early game, and you get the barrier reflect thing. So it's really good. But the thing is, to use the finisher, you have to sacrifice health. And you also can't use magic in it. So, like, I like how they balance that. They made it into a fun mechanic. But as much as I like situation commands, it does feel weird that they can't, like, you can't just select them, you know? Because Kingdom Hearts 2 had a lot of options as well, and they just kind of let you select them all.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it is more streamlined, it's easier than navigating the menu, but they also added a feature in this game to pause the game when you're navigating the menu. So, or at least slow it down really slowly when you're navigating the menu. So I don't know why they couldn't have just did what they did in Kingdom Hearts 2 and also added that as a good streamlining feature, because this is the best that they've ever used situation commands, like that kind of a system. But the fact that I have control over my keyblade transformations, which is cool, so it's kind of like drive forms coming back, except it weaves itself in a lot more naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else, like stuff that used to be limits that you could do on your own, just show up whenever they want to, you know?
Yeah.
And that, I don't know why it had to be that way.
I don't think I mind it. I think. So wait, when you talk, like, you mean specifically like the Keyblade, like different forms?
No, I mean like, so you can press triangle sometimes.
Yeah.
And it will do like Donald Meteor.
Oh, you mean
And
that?
duck flares in the game too.
Okay.
That stuff in Kingdom Hearts 2, you had to select that. There was an option that let you use triangle to use those limits, but you could also go into the menu and select them from the limit menu.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But they
Okay.
don't let you do that in this game. They just make you press triangle whenever they decide that you can use them.
Yeah. In that case, I agree. I think it would. I mean,
Are you specifically talking about the allies?
I'm talking about like limits, like, you know, when you get Donald Meteor, or
like
when
Goofy,
when you have an
Goofy
ally
Bombardier
and
or whatever?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that stuff, and
Yeah.
like, and even
Yeah.
attraction flows. Like, the thing is that this was all balanced in Kingdom Hearts 2 because using any of that took up your entire MP, and it had
Yeah.
to recharge. So they could have just linked. They could have given you every attraction flow throughout the game, like you gradually get more and more, and then it just drains your MP when you use it, and that would have been fine. Because limits or summons are in the game, and you can select them whenever you want, and they drain MP still. But there are other things that are just not selectable, and it's a little weird.
I get what you mean, and I also I don't mind like certain things being in that menu, the situation commands. I don't mind it overall either, but I think the ally limits need to be, or could be separated rather.
Yeah, the magic, I get the magic one.
The magic in like the forms are like you work towards them. So
yeah, they also let you use a level of magic that you can't unlock. So I get it. Like that's pretty cool, but everything else it just feels like they shoved it in there for no reason.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate, I guess. I think because I'm looking from their perspective. I didn't, because like as a player, I didn't mind the fact that I couldn't use like Donald Meteor or whatever on command. But I think because links already take up your entire MP bar, so I think if they had attraction rides and the ally forms or attacks,
I just realized something.
And both took your MP bar up, I think that would be a bit too much. So I can see why they did it, just so that not everything is reliant on MP. They could have had a second gauge for it, I don't know, but like I'm okay with the system the way it is now because it doesn't have, not everything is reliant on MP, I guess.
Now that I think about it, there was, Dan, you probably remember this when I mentioned it, there was a point in a boss where I used the Donald Meteor, and because of the way it was set up, I killed it by...
You can actually,
but it was only because I activated Donald Meteor. Like that was
luck. I can
luck.
actually explain this because I watched somebody play it, and he triggered something earlier in the game so that we don't have to spoil it. Because that happened to you at the end. But there's a boss early on. It's the Rock Titan. The Rock Titan has two heads. It works the same way. The two heads both proc the same health bar. But if you attack them both at the same time, they take double damage. So if you use Donald Meteor on the Rock Titan, he will take double damage from it, because both of his heads are taking... So one head will take Donald Meteor damage normally, and then the other one will take it normally at the same time, and they're both linked to the same health bar. So it like causes the game to double the damage, and then Donald Meteor becomes really broken.
And now put this in perspective. The boss I was fighting had 4 health bars left, and the thing like tripled itself, and and I used Donald Meteor on it because I happened to get it, and he died. I took down 4 health bars based on luck. So, and it was because he lined himself up just right. So that is a problem.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often, to be fair, though.
Yeah,
it's like a few things where they have multiple weak points.
But that also, well, it ties back to what you were saying too.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not a deal breaker because like they've walked back a lot. They have walked back like magic can be selectable now. Limits or not limits, but links, which are summons. I don't know why they call them links now, but links are you can use them whenever you want. And there's cost is back, like all that nice stuff. And I think that it just makes the game a little, like a tad too easy when they just give you attraction flow, you know? Because you can use attraction flow whenever it pops up at no cost. That's where it gets to me, you know?
Yeah.
Same with limits. Like, you can just use them when they show up. It's just a weird way to handle it, and I don't think I agree with it, but it's pretty minor in the grand scheme. Because you don't have to use them if you don't want. And there's enough variety that it doesn't bother me, because a lot of it is selectable anyway. You can customize a lot, so it doesn't bother me very much, but it's kind of annoying.
I'd be okay if they just made attractions like, what's the word? Contextual, I guess? Like, or context sense? Like, just that you couldn't use them in any battle, but like certain battles have specific attraction flows, or certain enemies will trigger certain attraction flows.
And they already do that.
No, I know, but I mean, like, I guess more so, like...
I mean, I get that.
Like it more than they already did. Because...
Sorry.
What was that?
Somebody sent me something. Can you continue?
Okay.
I should have done that.
Where was I? What was I saying?
It's okay. We don't have to.
Okay.
I think we get the gist now.
That's a good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It was like Sora nutting, and then it was just a voice clip.
So basically, it's a fun game. The levels are designed well. I think the Heartless, the new ones too, are pretty good. And
I was lying this whole time.
You get a lot of good fights. I kind of wish they mixed in more nobodies and unversed than they did.
Mm-hmm.
Especially unversed. I feel like there's like one new unversed type, maybe two, and it's only in Monstropolis. And it is cool that it links into the idea of the world, where like negative emotions are present because it was a place where they scared children for energy. Like that's cool, but I wish we got a little more unversed. That's just my gripe. But you got a little too much Heartless, but that's okay. Because the enemies themselves were well designed, and they were cool, and there were a lot of new ones, and they were themed to the worlds again. It was just nice seeing new enemies. So, and I guess the final thing is shot lock, which I consistently forgot about. And
really,
it's insanely situational, though.
I use it sometimes.
It just depends on if there's like a ton of enemies. Really,
I feel like shot lock nowadays is just there because it was in Birth by Sleep. You know, like, I don't know what the purpose is of it.
They never
anymore.
Explained how he learned it.
I don't know, like, what the purpose of it is in combat. Like, I feel like you could get rid of it and it wouldn't do a whole lot. Like, it offers variety, I guess, which is nice, but...
I think they were onto something with Hero's Origin, that Keyblade, because that one is, the shot lock does not function as like a long range attack, it functions as a AoE short range attack.
Yeah.
But then the rest of them are just like, haha, I'm shooting honey at you. So like I agree with you, but I also think that it was really cool because I didn't really use it to target multiple enemies at once. I used it more so I even used it on like bosses just to get some damage in, because that uses its own form, so it's like a separate resource you can use at pretty much no cost. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's probably the best it's been in this.
Yeah.
So that you can they're based on keyblades and they're all different. And that's nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to equip them anymore, so that's nice. Yeah, that's like, it's a really fun game, and the level design promotes a lot of exploration, and it's, in some ways, it's one of the most fun times I've had with a Kingdom Hearts game. So that's saying something. Like it's like a breath of fresh air in a way, like mostly because of the level design. Like the fact that, like, it really struck me when I was walking around in some of the worlds, like, Jesus Christ, these are levels. Like, they're like, it's just so refreshing.
Yeah.
And the fact that the combat has been walked back to a level that could be considered equivalent to Kingdom Hearts 2. If you get in, like, people will get into finer details, and people already have. And there are a lot of differences in minute details that kind of point to balance problems and stuff. But, like, for me, I didn't notice it too obviously, and I think they've walked it back enough to where we're at a good state again. Like, gameplay wise, I think it's back to prime. Like, it's really fucking fun. So I think we're back. We're back.
Yeah.
It only took like 10 games.
It's not that Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance weren't fun. Like, I liked them. It's just that they were noticeably down in terms of gameplay for me. They were not like the height.
Yeah.
They fixed it enough in Kingdom Hearts 3 where I'm like, okay, this is back to where I want it to be. And there's a lot of variety, and I appreciate that.
I know people were excited for how the story was going to end, but I was more excited to play a Kingdom Hearts game that I would like.
I mean, I like, fair, but I was not one of those people.
I was not either.
Like, I'm glad that it played well, and I appreciate the games that play really well. They're really fun. But
I'm surprised
is the time. I think, like...
Yeah.
I was surprised that you were able to, like, struggle.
Time.
Like, you just, like, powered through the game and, like, you finally got what you came for at the end.
Yeah, because that stuff, like, I have to be honest. There is a lot of merit in Kingdom Hearts gameplay. And there's a lot to dig into.
Well, you guys have been waiting for a while.
It's really fun. But that's not really the primary reason that I'm so into it.
Same.
Like,
you know, I could agree because I only like 3 games in the series.
The reason that I was so hyped for Kingdom Hearts 3 is that they're wrapping it up. Yeah. And at this point, I think we've exhausted our discussion on things that cannot be spoilerific. Our music stuff will be tied to probably endgame fights, because that's where I believe it's at its strongest. And that's just, you can't really talk about it without spoiling it. So... at this point, we're probably just gonna jump into endgame spoilerific stuff. So if you don't want to hear it, just go away. If you haven't finished it, all right. Now, at this point, I don't really know where to begin.
Riku and
Sora died.
Yes. No, stop.
Sora died. I was kind of right.
Yeah, he did. Sora, let's be clear. At one point in time, he was dead. In fact, yes. I think at one point in time, everybody was dead.
Yes, but my point is that look, when he showed up in the final world, I was like, he's coming back, because otherwise they would not be showing him, like, be here. And I would not be collecting, like, parts of Sora's body if he was not going to go back. But I was like, you know, I'll take it.
Well, you should probably explain that you predicted that he was gonna die.
Yeah.
Which is why it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I spent like a good few months being like, he's dead. He's gonna die for sure. 100% he's gonna die. And I knew that, like, I felt like every time I would bring it up, you just like change the subject because
I don't want to acknowledge it.
I'm curious, what did you feel like when that happened?
What did you feel?
Okay. Well, we're going to be asking that question a lot, because I think this is going to be a long discussion, because there are things that I want to talk about. There are, like...
Okay. Well, I guess, should we go in order of the events that happened?
Yeah, we might as well. That's probably the best way to structure this, or else we're just going to, like...
be all over the place.
So, really, it starts with Aqua. Really. Like, that's when things just kick it into high gear. Where Riku and Mickey are missing. And Sora's like, okay, let's go to the Realm of Darkness. He goes to Destiny Islands, and then I guess he just goes there. I don't really know specifically. I think it's his power of waking. I don't know. He makes it there somehow. And you have a fight. And that fight is very good.
Yep.
That
is a very good fight.
Okay, so first of all, the music. Oh god. The music is
Here we go.
You like it's slower, but it makes you feel things. You're like, no, I want to fight you. I don't want to fight you, but I have to fight you.
Especially because you're fighting Aqua.
Yeah. And Aqua's like saying stuff like how she's saying things like how she's been lonely for years.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just sad.
It's so frustrating what happened to Aqua after the Terra Inventus are idiots. They're just fucking morons, and she ended up where she was because of them. But she cares about them, and that's what matters most. So her suffering is so poignant because she has no control over what's happening. They are the ones that control how they feel, and Aqua's just sitting there, like.
It's like you fight her, and it's, to be fair, her fight is copied from a fight in 0.2, so it kind of takes away a little bit of the impact because she has a very, like, it's almost the exact same moveset as the mirror Aqua you fight in 0.2.
Yeah. Well, that was a secret fight too,
and it's a fun fight, but like they kind of just reused it.
They did,
but like it didn't take away too much from the impact, but it was because it was more about like what was happening than the actual fight.
See, that's why I play Kingdom Hearts. I play Kingdom Hearts for like stuff like this, to like fight Aqua even though I don't want to. And like you're right. Like when she brings up all her clones and each one is saying like a line from the past where she's like, I've been alone for like 10 years or whatever. I'm like, fuck. Like, why'd you have to do that? Like, it's so impactful.
Oh my god. The first time I cried in this game, actually the first time I cried was when I first booted it up, but the second time I cried was when Aqua's on the beach, the Destiny Islands.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
And then she realizes that she's okay. Because even at first she's like, when did the Destiny Islands fall to darkness? Because she's so convinced. She is so convinced that she is not gotten out of it. That she's just like, it's so sad.
Yeah.
See,
but it's also happy. It's so happy that I cried. Like,
to touch upon something before though, I mentioned that I played this game because, well, I was more excited for this game because it was a Kingdom Hearts game that I was actually going to enjoy. That is not to discredit the story of Kingdom Hearts because it is really fun to follow. You know? And over the course of these games, especially if you grew up with them, you become so attached with these characters.
Well, that's
even Abdullah. Even Abdullah was able... I was certainly felt when Aqua was suffering.
I can say that I somewhat, like, I was a little older than I was for Kingdom Hearts 2, but I got Birth by Sleep on release. So I can almost say that Aqua has been in the realm of darkness, like, since I played that game. And, like, in the game, it has been just about as long since she's been in there. Like, it's been that long for me and her, so it was even more special. It was even more like it's like, Jesus Christ, she's off. Yeah. She's out. They got her out.
Yeah.
She's gone.
You know,
I like what...
Go ahead. It was able to hit me so hard because I genuinely did care about the story.
Yeah.
So, like I'm not just here for one reason. I'm obviously also here because I want to see everything come to an end.
Yeah.
And like that was really fucking powerful. That fight and the way it ended.
It was really, the way it ended, especially like when she's falling into the water and before when did the Destiny Island, like I messaged you about the Destiny Islands thing. I was like, holy fuck, I feel so bad for her. But before that, she's like falling in the water and she's just like, so this is how it ends. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, this is exactly why I said this in one of my videos. But like, people complain all the time. They're like, nobody dies in this series. First of all, people did die in this one. So, but I get it. I get it that it's kind of, in a way, it is like Dragon Ball. In a way, like, death is never permanent for some reason. So I get that. But unlike Dragon Ball, these characters are emotionally tormented. Like, the stuff they go through, you cannot just write off. Like, they go through some traumatic fucking shit.
Yeah, no, that's like saying if you were to be stabbed 50 times and then you had your head cut off and then you came back to life, that wouldn't be traumatic because you came back to life.
Like, you cannot whatever you feel about these games, you cannot, for instance, experience 358 days, however you did, and say that those characters did not get fucking, like, tortured and, like, that they did not come out of that, like, traumatized, because Jesus, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That game was straddling a T rating.
Yeah. Like, that's why this is so powerful. Because they finally get their retribution.
This game was straddling a T rating. Honestly.
So, like, you go from that to all of a sudden the dominoes are falling, and immediately after... Actually, I think immediately after... I think something is in between them and Ventus. I don't remember specifically. But...
She goes to... No, I think...
No. It's that Demix goes to Yenso and gives him a replica. Yeah. But the important thing is that they go to the Land of Departure. Well, first they go to Castle Oblivion, which is the Land of Departure.
By the way, they hinted at that that betrayal with Demix before, and like if you say that they trickled enough in with the foreshadowing throughout the game that it made the ending pretty fucking dope.
It was really with Vexen.
Yeah.
Like, and Vexen also hints that there was somebody else besides Demix, because Demix wasn't planning to do it. He was just convinced by Vexen. Side note, I'm happy the story went the way it did. am a little disappointed you didn't get to fight Demyx at least once. Because I was kind of expecting to be able to fight him one last time, but it didn't happen. And Demyx didn't really do much of anything.
Dance, water, dance.
Like, although, I don't know, because I like Demyx in a weird way. Like, it's like, at least he got a moment where Larxene really likes Demyx. I am convinced that Larxene is like, because she's like, there's a line where she's like, you're not she says you are not attractive, and I'm like, okay, you definitely like, because that's been in all the games.
That's a very specific thing to say.
Well, so I like that. Larxene, by the way, is still very good. I don't know, I just like her because she's always like, she's just so mean, but she's mean in a way that's kind of funny.
Even when she's dying, she's like, well, better I die like at the hands of you losers than like be the vessel for that old, like, I don't even remember the word she used, but I was like, oh,
she said
damn.
geezer.
Like, yeah, like, better die at the hands of you losers than be a shell for that old geezer. I'm like it was not one or the other, by the way, but okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but anyway, so they go to Ventus, right?
Yeah.
And then Vanitas shows up, and then like they have the way they remixed his theme. It has like an electric guitar in it.
Yeah,
it is so good.
So Yoko Shimomura has in 0.2 she used very rock centric instrumentation. Like in the final boss of 0.2, she had a little bit of her Final Fantasy 15 composition bleeded in. You could hear some like really some kick-ass drums.
I should actually say that I learned something today. I'm not musically knowledgeable, but okay. So it is stated that Yoko Shimomura, she's credited with composing the songs. There's somebody else who's credited with arranging them, and I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? Can you tell me?
I fucking hold on.
Because there's someone named Takaharu Ishizara or something that arranged the music that she composed. I don't know what specifically that means, but it's noticeably like the instrumentation feels like I think she's fully orchestrating them now.
Yeah, no, so usually the arranger is this is on Stack Exchange. The arranger is usually called the orchestrator. So they're like a director for music, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So he actually so Yoko Shimomura composed it all.
Yep.
But he's the one who directs the orchestra, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be. I'm pretty sure that's. Dude, Stack Exchange is a reliable website.
I felt like I had to say it because this is notable. I don't think that's ever happened before with her.
Yeah.
Like, she's always worked alone until she started orchestrating everything. Maybe he's been there since she started orchestrating older songs for the HD collections, but I don't really know.
Well,
but that's the thing.
He would be the one orchestrating. Oh, because he would be the one that when they're playing with a live orchestra. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so he probably has been there since then.
Yeah. Anyway, that song is really good, and you start fighting Vanitas, and they get to use Aqua, likely because she already was programmed. And I think that's the reason why you don't get to play as many people. It doesn't really make sense that you don't get to play as Riku, because they did program him. You play as him once, and then never again, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, twice.
Sorry, it's important.
Wait, twice?
It was once in the Realm of Darkness, and then again in the Realm of Darkness.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I remember the first time. When was the second time?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I actually don't remember where the second time was, but I know that I'm pretty sure you do it twice.
The point is you don't play as him much.
Well, yeah.
And I don't know why you didn't get to play. My theory is that it would take too long to do, because they'd have to create a character from scratch and give them combos and stuff. And I get it. I was kind of hoping that you get to play as a bunch of different characters, but that's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, really.
Because this one thing is like a shining moment where you actually do get to play as Aqua when you fight Vanitas.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's cool. And
it makes more sense than like Sora fighting Vanitas.
Yeah, even though Sora does fight Vanitas.
Well, but like in the first confrontation, I guess it makes sense for Aqua to be the one to like not finish him, but like just get him away.
Yeah.
From Ventus.
So they save Ventus.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice moment. I'm not as harsh on Ventus and Terra nowadays as I once was.
I think Ventus is fine. It's Terra's the one that like I've always
Ventus
just been like,
you can
an idiot.
excuse for being young and ignorant, but Terra is just like dumb and ignorant.
Yeah, Terra's just an idiot to me. I can't see him.
I've always kind of Terra has never been a character I was too attached to, but I don't think I've ever like. I think he just got a bad deal. Like I don't think he did too many dumb things, because people always say that trusting Xehanort was dumb, but even this game backs up that he was just a Keyblade master before he started doing evil things. Like, 'cause there was a point, like, you look at it from his perspective, him trusting Xehanort doesn't seem that out of place because Ericus treats him with respect. Ericus is like,
right.
This is my fellow Keyblade master. So it's like, I don't really have issue with him doing dumb things. It's just that I was just never attached to him as a character that much.
I guess.
Like, I also think that it's more the stuff I'm writing about this too. I think the stuff in Birth by Sleep is more about him coming to terms with the fact that power isn't everything, and a lot of the wrong things that he does are just mistakes that he learns from. But the problem is when he learns from them, he gets possessed, and he doesn't get to go on the same journey as Riku because for all intents and purposes, he gets captured and locked away. So it's almost the same arc as Riku, but he doesn't get his chance to redeem. So I think that's why people are really harsh on him.
I guess.
And I've never been like, I don't know, I've never been that harsh, but I can sort of see. But my point is that when Ventus and Terra were saved, I did get emotional about it. Not like, partly because Aqua cared.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got emotional because Aqua cared.
But I didn't not care about them. So that also contributed. Like when Ventus was saved, I was like, oh, that's good. He's finally saved. It didn't bring me to tears, but like when they were both saved, like actually, we'll get to that later, but Ventus didn't get to me that much. But I was like, okay, that's good. That's nice. That's been building up for a long time. I'm really glad that he's not like lost anymore. So I liked that moment. That was good too. And then there's just they go to the like. This is when things just get crazy. Like, this is when you just start like there's an emotional wildfire in me and things like, because first of all they're going around, and then like Axel's on the clock tower, and then Isa, I guess is what they call him now, even though Axel still sometimes calls himself Axel. But okay, so Isa's there, and then he's talking to Axel. And they're talking about stuff, and then it's like, oh, you're Destiny Islands, and it just keeps jumping around. It's like, oh my god, like, can you slow, like, oh my god. Like, because then, like, Riku is talking to Riku on Destiny Islands.
please God.
Riku is talking to Riku, and then Sora and Kairi are holding hands on the tree.
No, that's later.
They share their Palpu fruit.
Yeah, that
actually
happens first.
do it.
They share the Palpu
actually
fruit.
Do it.
Okay, can I talk about this real quick? Because I sent Dan a message when that happened. This was before I got into the call with you, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Yeah, it was I sent you a message when they shared the Palpu fruit because I was so excited. And then I'm gonna read this off. When I sent it to him, I was like, they're sharing a Palpu fruit, Dan. They gon' fuck. And then the next message said, I love that scene.
Yeah. So, context, I beat the game before these two, much earlier. So when he's messaging me about, like, you're messaging me about, like, oh, this is such a cute scene, and I'm like, yeah. Full well knowing what happens to Sora at the end of the game. Yeah. So that was
that for later. Show no
that
emotion.
was really that was like it wrapped up a thing that had happened like at the end of these games where like they drew their Paopu fruit drawings and like that was like the conclusion. They shared the Paopu fruit. They did the thing. Zuli, what is it? What was her name from Korra? I can't remember what her name was. Yeah, Julie. I had it right the first time, but I second guessed myself. But yeah, so that happened. So you have all this build up, and they're going to the Keyblade graveyard, and then like, and then they all die.
And then
they all die.
It's funny that they died in the Keyblade graveyard, isn't it? Isn't that great?
And that's real. Like they actually died.
Yeah. You know, actually,
and
you know what?
There's a line.
They're ripped away from Sora first. Like,
yeah.
And then Sora screams, like, in agony, which has never happened to my knowledge.
It's just like, it's such an emotional moment.
Yeah.
I love when he's in the final world. Like,
Heaven.
You know, the place that is called the final world.
That's what happens when you die, by the way.
And Chirithy spouts a line that made me realize fully what kind of series it is. Like, I fully realized when Chirithy was like, "This is the place." Like the edges of sleep and death touch. And when that line was uttered, I'm like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what is going on?"
Sleep and death.
After everything that has happened, that line almost broke me.
Like a few hours ago, it was, wow, 2 Baymaxes!
Yeah.
That line, like, through all the time travel and, like, the shit that happens in Big Hero 6 with Riku, that shit wasn't even enough. But when Chirithy says, like, the edges of sleep and death touch, I was like, oh, okay, you've lost me now. You've gone to a place I never thought you would ever go.
And then, well, Dan, you didn't know this, actually, when you wander around the first section trying to collect your boys.
Yeah, because why did they hide a cutscene with Naminé optionally?
Well, no, I thought it was cool. No, I discussed this with you. I thought that was, like, intentional.
I know, but, like, I've thought about it more, and I'm a little, like... Because, and it wouldn't bother me so much, but you get nothing with Naminé until you beat the game.
Yeah.
And it really rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like, because that's the only scene you get with Naminé, and you can miss it very easily because I didn't even see the stars. It'd be one thing if you could see them and it was optional, but I didn't even know that they were there because they blend in with the water. I didn't even fucking see them. And Abdullah didn't see them either. I was trying to warn Abdullah and he missed it.
I saw them. It's just I talked to like 4 of them and nothing of value was said. So it's just like, well, all right.
I don't get why they did it. I don't know what the purpose is, I guess.
I would rather it be optional.
I like some of them that are optional, but the one with Naminé is like, why is that optional?
Yeah,
because Naminé is a very important character. I don't know why. Like,
what did I say last night that I don't remember?
Because everybody else that you talk to is fine. Like, there are a lot of characters there, and I don't think they're all super relevant.
I recognize which one was Kairi. That was cool.
Yeah.
There was something I said about Naminé's star last night that I can't remember.
I don't know why. Because the problem is that she doesn't ever show up or say anything aside from that one cutscene.
And that is probably what really hurts.
And whatever. Sora,
because
Sora fights.
The world itself is cool.
Yeah, I like collecting the stuff. It was a really trippy world, and it doesn't last that long.
I was kind of like tripped out as well because it felt like they finished, and this is not meant as like an insult or I'm saying that they're lazy or whatever, but it felt like they finished the game and then they had that world to like program or whatever. And then they were like, okay, Nomura, what do we do for this world? He was like, just fucking put Sora's animations everywhere. Like, you see Sora's, like, all of his animations, and they're just, like, jumping around the place, and you get to switch gravity, and it's just, like, a very bare-bones world, but it's so fitting because you're dead, and, like, the thing that you never expected to happen happened, and, like, all you see is, like, Sora jumping, and, like, animations of him laughing, and, like, the animation where he gets fire on his butt, and it's like, what the fuck?
I love how Chirthy is. Chirthy, the way that he reacts to Sora is really funny, because, like, it looks like Chirthy is like, are you fucking idiot? Sometimes, like, it's just so funny. I just like it. That's the review of the video game. There's another thing that's a little weird, and that's that I'm not super familiar with the mobile game, but there's a thing about Chirthy that you don't realize until you know things, where first of all, Ventus existed in the mobile game. It's just that he has no memory of it, because when Master Xehanort took Vanitas out, he lost his memory. So Ventus was friends with Chirthy, so when Chirthy talks about his friend that probably doesn't remember him, he's talking about Ventus, which is why at the end of the game, Ventus finds Chirthy, you know? But, like, you wouldn't know that unless you played the mobile game, even though that's not in the collections. So, like, there are some things, and there's also one of the stars is believed to be a character from the mobile game who is Marluxia's brother. Well, Laurium's brother, who is Marluxia's person. Somebody.
I would... if I were to tell Dalen that, he would have been so lost. I was trying to explain the story to him from memory, as somebody who knows nothing about the series, and when I got to young Xehanort, he lost it. That was a lot of fun. You should try that. Just go to your friends that know nothing about this.
I tried to explain to my dad. So now I can tell you where I was. So imagine this. I'm playing the game. I'm at the Keyblade Graveyard in, like, the Skein of Severance, or whatever the fuck that place is called. Like, the weirdest name I've ever heard.
The skiing resort.
And so where I am at is... I am at Lee and Axel fighting Saix and Xion, I guess. But
did you just say the same person is working
what?
together?
Lee and Axel?
Lee and Kyrie. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Lee and
fighting
Axel.
Fighting Saix and Xion. You don't get to fight Xion for very long. But he came down when the cutscene was starting. And he just kind of wanted to watch because he didn't know what the game was about. And, like, that was a very weird time to walk into that game on, because Axel's talking about, like, how no one acts as Axel, which is one of the best lines ever. And, like, Xemnas, like, broke his Keyblade or whatever, and like, the Xion, I almost said Xion. Xion comes back, and, like, she's crying, and then Roxas comes in, and he fights Saix, and, like, everybody's crying at the end, and I'm trying to explain to my dad what is going on. And I'm having a very hard time, because right after that, I then went over to Terra, and I had to also be like, okay, so these people have been separated for, like, 10 years or whatever, so it's a very emotional moment, and, like, they're dark wizards, and, like
your dad has, like, the trigonometry going around his head.
and like, I went up, and then you see the three, you see Xemnas and Ansem and Xehanort and young Xehanort, and at that point I'm like, Dad, I cannot explain this. Like,
those are all the same person.
You should have said, by the way, those are all the same person.
Except two of them are not people.
I mean, that's when I got to Scala Kylum, he left.
How did he feel when he saw Donald and Goofy finally? Like,
well, that's the reason I stopped explaining it to him, is because when Mickey showed up, I realized how ridiculous it was. And I was just like, no, I can't do it anymore. Anyway, that was a side tangent. I don't even know where we were.
We were talking about...
Oh, they were
like
dead.
After... Yeah.
That's right.
But
when
there
all
is one thing
died.
before that I wanted to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
When Donald uses, like, whatever that spell is...
Zeta
that-
Flare?
Yeah. I was like, he's dead.
I thought he was dead, too.
Yeah, that's
was like,
right.
that's-
I remember when he used that, I was like, it puts a tremendous strain on the body. He's going Super Saiyan Blue.
I legit thought he was dying and never coming back.
Yep, same. And then who is it that gets hit? Like, Ventus gets hit, and then Kyrie
Yeah.
gets hit, and I'm like, all three of them are just fucked. They're dead.
Because Terranort goes to fucking town.
Yeah. And then all of them died, and I was like, okay, hold up. That's not happening. Like,
Then
But
darkness
anyways.
prevails and light expires, as it was
yeah.
foretold.
I messaged you, I was like, no.
Oh my god, that's right. Then the message flew up right after. Yikes.
But then Sora saves them all with his I
Yeah.
guess it. He asks Chirithy if it was the power of waking, and he says no, or something. So I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if it was the power of waking, but young Xehanort goes on and on about how it's dangerous, which never really gets resolved. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck he was trying to say. I don't get it. But whatever. It's fine. That's Kingdom Hearts.
I have a feeling. No, I have a feeling they're setting up for something else.
Yeah, they might be setting up for a future game. Which would be fair.
Which is hilarious considering this was supposed to be the end of an era. But like,
I have things to say about that when we get there, but
Oh, yeah.
so then my mind's a little like
After that,
so they time travel after that. I'm not even
yeah.
shitting you.
it's fucking.
I'm not even shitting you because what happens is they go back and then okay.
They just don't die.
I don't understand fully what happens because the events play out the same way. Ventus does the same thing that he did before. Aqua says the same thing. So it implies that they have no memory, but Sora does.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah. From what I understood is that Sora comes back, and then when the darkness hits again, what happens exactly when he gets hit by the darkness? The second time, like the big wave that Riku protects him from.
I think that's when he time travels, right? Is it? Or is that when that happens? Then he hunts down the Grim Reaper thing?
No. So the first time he did.
It's been like 5 days. I don't remember.
Yeah.
it
Okay. Well,
specifically.
whatever. He comes back, and then the same thing happens with Terranort, Aqua, and Ventus, and then Sora is the one that's like, I have to change this, and so he does. So that's what. Yeah.
Well,
I
what
think you're
happens
right.
is this is why it also kind of angered me that the Naminé scene is optional and I didn't see it, because Naminé mentions that she's talking to Terra, and that's important because the reason that the Lingering Will shows up is because of Naminé.
Yeah.
And that's why the Lingering Will shows up to fight Terranort. Which is really cool scene, because he has his KH2 moveset. It's really cool. Like, he does the weird, like, elastic Keyblade moves and, like, the cannon.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, it's funny.
Wait, was it even Sora that stopped Terranort from hitting Ventus? I thought, isn't that Lingering Will that stopped him?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, yeah, I played this last night and I'm already forgetting things.
I think what happened after that is that the Heartless just came, like, you fought a Heartless.
Yeah.
And then it leads to, like, one of the coolest things in the game that incorporates
I would
the
say in the
mobile game.
series.
It incorporates the mobile game. And I never thought that I would be saying that the one that links to the mobile game is like the coolest moment.
Yeah.
But it kind of is. Because there was a contest that happened where people got to be put in the game. And more so even than the contest itself, where you get put in the game and you press the triangle and fight. To me, this is almost a like sly way of confirming that the people who play Kingdom Hearts help them too. Because especially if you played the mobile game, which everybody got, because everybody got to be like a Keyblade wielder, and so those Keyblade wielders would be you if you like even booted up the game once and did anything in it, you know. So it's like a weird, like a really clever way of incorporating people who've played the series for a long time.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing because when I heard about the contest, I was like, oh god, they're gonna like add NPCs with like XX, like Kingdom Hearts fan XX, and I was like, that's god, it's just gonna be so bad. And then, I completely forgot about it until that moment, and I'm reading the names. I'm like, what the fuck? Who came up with it? Oh, it's from the contest. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, it was really, especially because most contests like that, when they add a person into a game, it's like as some random NPC you'll never talk to ever
They
again.
actually did it in Kingdom Hearts 1. Kurt Zisa was a contest. That boss was a contest that they did. So that was a callback to that kind of. Like they did another contest.
But I mean, like ukulele, for instance, and this is, I guess that's more because it's like Kickstarter or whatever. They're like, oh, we'll add you into the game. And it's like you're just a penguin, and you're just like meh, meh, like that's it. And then and then you play this.
But
and
in,
it's like
it's like the fallen keyblade wielders are helping you.
Yeah, it's like it's amazing.
That was
Yeah, it was a really good moment, and it came from the game that I don't care about. Which is funny. And then it's followed by another fucking hype moment. Like what? It was, I like almost audibly reacted when Yen Sid came in.
and he parted the seas like Moses.
He never does anything.
Yeah.
So when he shows up, I'm like, oh my god, he's doing something. And he doesn't do very much, but just the fact that he did anything was like, oh my god.
He is Moses. He chooses not to interfere. Only when things are
They
dire.
really knew how to get people hyped up in these last moments. In the game.
When that happened, I'm like, okay, I have nothing to worry about anymore. Like this is gonna be like the next like 4 hours are gonna be like the best moment of my life. And it really was, because then you'd go to the sky and the skiing. What is that word? I don't get it. I don't know what that word means.
Ski resort.
You go to the place, and then you start having like 3-on-3 battles.
See, I love that.
Yeah, that.
Oh yeah,
was
that
so
shit was
fucking
awesome.
Cool.
Because I was so worried that, and it wouldn't have been a bad thing necessarily, but I was worried they would pull a KH2 and make you fight them one versus, like, you versus each and every organization member one at a time.
Hey, those were
But the
fun
way
though.
they handled it, those were fun, but for this,
Well, now it kind of, that would be repetitive, but
yeah,
Well, that
I
was
would've been
also
like,
you didn't fight all 13 members.
Yeah, that
in
too.
2 because half of
Yeah,
them were dead
yeah.
in 2 already.
Yeah. And so with this, I was like, oh god, please don't do that. And then you go into like the corner of the like labyrinth, and you see like fucking Kyrie and Axel fighting these two people, and then in another corner it's Mickey and Riku, or Mickey and Riku, I think, yeah, fighting.
Well, Mickey's
like,
on his own and Riku's on his own.
okay,
that's
well,
the,
like
that's the first choice
Mickey's
that you
like
make.
fighting Xemnas, I think.
Mickey's
and-
fighting Marluxia, Larxene, and Luke Sword. I have to say Luke Sword because that's how you pronounce it apparently.
But like I saw that and it was just like go. I was like, what? It was the
Yeah.
game was just like go do something. I was like, oh,
I love
okay.
that you fight. It's because it's so hectic. You have to fight them all
Yeah.
at once. I love that, and they all get their resolutions. And it, like, because when you go, we'll start with like you go. I started with Mickey. I don't know what you started with.
Yeah, same.
I started with Mickey, and then you get the. It's probably the best one to start with because those are like the least important members. That you probably don't really like because they just kind of shove the ones that don't matter much.
Yeah.
But it was still cool because like when Luke Sword died, I'm not used to saying Luke Sword. When Luke Sword died, well, it's so funny because you kill them, and then you realize, oh, they're just gonna become people. Like, because it's almost like Sora is saving them too. And so when Luke Sword is like, hey, let's have a game someday, Sora. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. It's like it's such a good moment, and it's like a domino effect, moment after moment of all these cool things happening. I just don't know how you could not love it. Like,
Yeah. I mean, like, they also say things they've like never said before. Like, I think it was Ansem who, when you kill him or defeat him.
when if you're talking, is that the one where Ansem's like, eventually I just felt nothing or something like?
I think he's
Where
like
he just
starts
felt like
off where-
he was just going through the motions eventually.
Yeah, he was like, I knew I was never gonna win. I was like, oh shit, like that's not something you would expect to hear from like the final boss of the first game.
Zemnis finally felt something, but it was loneliness, and I'm like, oh my god.
And he was like, why do people want hearts? Like it only causes. His line was like, the first emotion I feel, and it's loneliness. I was like, oof. That's really sad.
Yeah, they wrap up everybody.
Yeah.
You go to even Larxene and Marluxia. Like, I still question a little bit why they were even there. Luxord, I almost said Lux. Okay, Luxord, I get, because Luxord's the kind of guy who just goes with the flow, like, and I get that. I like that. But I don't really know why Larxene and Marluxia were still there. I don't get it. Like, they even in one cutscene earlier on in the game, Larxene is like, Marluxia, why are we even here? And then they get cut off, and it never gets addressed again. And I don't really know why they were there. It's probably a sticking point that I'll bring up, is I still don't get why they were there.
I think they just needed characters.
Those two, I know that's the reason. I know, because I understand Nomura. He will do things that are cool and then try to explain it afterward. But I think that's one of the things where it just was not explained at all. Like, I just don't get it. Like, even fucking Ansem Riku from the past, at least they explained it.
That was amazing. Yeah. Like, and then, oh my god, seeing 3 Rikus on screen, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like Riku was there, and then he was fighting Ansem
Okay, so
Riku.
no, let me explain it. So Riku's fighting Riku, and then Riku is dying. And then Riku comes out of Riku to take Riku out of Riku.
But I didn't even understand it in the first place, because I was like, how can Ansem possessing Riku coexist at the same time as Ansem and Riku? Like, no, the Riku part I get, but like, how can Ansem exist twice at the same time?
Well, this
like,
is,
I
think
fact
that is...
that I thought about that as well just speaks to how I'm able to reason with this game's narrative.
I was just like, what? Like, you can't do that, but they did anyways, and it was still amazing.
I mean, it's like... But what he does, because he's a genius, like an evil genius that Nomura is, he makes it cool. Like,
yeah.
He's like, oh, Riku Replica's here, and he's gonna take the evil Riku out, and then the Replica's there. And then Riku Replica had an arc. Like,
yeah, oh my god,
fuck?
yeah, he did. He was like, take the replica for Namine. I was like, what?
And he's like, you're the only Riku that we need to exist. Damn. Damn. And then I don't know.
Oh.
I don't even want to talk about Xigbar until we get to the end.
Yeah,
Because
no,
that's like a fucking
that.
That's a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
What I like is that when we were talking about favorite organization members, I was like talking about how much I like Luxord, and then you were like, yeah, I think Xigbar might be my favorite, and I was like, you know what, yeah, I think I like Xigbar.
I said that full well knowing that what happens at the end of the game, because that, like... But I mean, Xigbar was one of my favorites before that, even, because I like Xigbar. Xigbar is just fun.
Yeah, he is. That's what I was thinking. I was like,
the reveal at the
he's
end,
pretty cool.
The reveal at the end sells me on his character even more. But I just,
yeah,
my God.
I thought he was the most. I mean, like not considering the ending of this game, I thought he was the most consistently like dickish, but like in a good, like in a well-written way.
But like, the fact that, first of all, he doesn't die in that. And then earlier in the game, there's a scene I completely just flew over my head where it's in Olympus and Pete and Maleficent are looking for the box and Xigbar is there and he almost says, "May your heart be your guiding key," but he cuts him off. Like, it was,
really?
He made it. Yeah, you remember that? At the very end, he says, "May your heart," and before he says heart, it fades to black immediately.
Oh yeah, I was so confused. I thought
yeah,
like
but it's like in retrospect, it's so fucking obvious. Like,
yeah, but I thought
insane.
like the game glitched. I was like, did I press something? Like, I didn't mean to skip the cutscene. But yeah, that was so cool.
But
well, in retrospect,
I mean, we'll get to that. But like,
yeah.
So Xigbar was fun. It was fun to fight him again. I mean, as if. But
And then Shion.
okay.
Shion shows up.
Can you
Okay.
can you explain to me how the hell this happened?
I don't know.
Okay, I know what happened. So, firstly, okay. Okay, so Vexen, right? Vexen is the reason most of this happens. So, Vexen is working for the organization. They mentioned at one point, I think it was in Demix. You remember when Demix said he got benched?
Mm-hmm.
He said he got replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And then Larxene is talking about how they're going to fill out their ranks with replicas.
Mm-hmm.
The first replica was Ansem Riku.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I can't believe I'm saying... Okay. When Riku Replica takes Ansem Riku out of the replica itself, because Ansem Riku was in a replica.
Yeah.
So that was one of the replicas that Vexen made. Because Vexen was making replicas even back in Chain of Memories. Like, that was a plot point that they brought back from Chain of Memories.
I think I hate myself for being able to follow this.
So, they didn't ever outright show a scene where Shion was being made. But that was the other replica that they made.
But how did they get Shion's heart?
Now that I'm a little I don't know fully.
Because I can kind of see it because there is the replica with Namine at the end. Mm-hmm. Well, where Namine's heart just sort of flies into the building. Flies into the replica, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's how it works. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it was a little... Even I have to admit, it was a little weird how Shion was just there. But that's okay, because the next, however many minutes, they're, the best moment of my life. Because these... Okay. I think I've come to terms with the fact that this trio is the one I care the most about. I think that's just... I'm safe in saying that. Mm-hmm. Because they're the ones that...
They cut a raw deal.
Because you could argue that Aqua, Terra, and Ventus got it worse in a way.
I think only Aqua did.
But I was more connected with... Because I played a lot, I played Days a lot. And I've thought about them a lot, and I like Axel more. And I like Roxas and Shion as characters. And I think it's more rooted in Roxas himself, because that's been since Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also just circumstantially all three of these characters have really unfortunate things backing their stories up. Axel is confused. He's part of the organization, and Roxas is a nobody. He's trying to find his place in the world, and Shion is a replica.
Yeah.
So
and okay. So I started losing my mind when Sora holds Shion's Keyblade and he's like, "You don't have to do this." And I was like, "Oh, I can't keep it together anymore. This is when I this is when I just can't do it." Because then Shion starts crying, and then the hood comes off, and then Roxas comes in, and then
holy shit! When Roxas came in, I lost it.
I think I yelled at Roxas.
Well, that's how you know. That's how you know that this game's fucking great. I don't know how the fuck that this can get so many emotions out of me. From just it's Roxas coming in is the equivalent to fucking Thor coming in Avengers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the equivalent scene. Because when he comes in, you're like, oh my god, things are about to fucking happen.
That moment for me, if it was not 5 a.m. and everyone in the house was sleeping, I would have yelled Roxas.
Yeah.
My jaw it dropped when I saw that.
I think I did anyway.
Tears were streaming. I was like, oh no. He's here.
How did Roxas apparate? Well, I know it was... Oh, well, did he Well, I don't know how he appeared. I know that seeing Shion was enough to bring him out, but how did he exist?
It's one of the replicas.
Oh yeah, okay.
I assume that it was that he took the one that Riku Replica took Ansem Riku out of. Even because they said it was for Namine, but it's either that one or it's the one that Ienzo already had from Demix.
It was
either one.
It was the Demix one. I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
that one wasn't, because Riku Replica specifically said, and Riku repeated, that the one that they left there was for Namine.
See, these are the moments where I
don't know why
question
they would
Nomura's storytelling, though. Because there are problems with how he tells the story.
Well, wait, because I thought, okay, so the Riku replica was for Namine, and then
Yes.
from my understanding, they in the lab in Twilight Town.
Yeah, I think that was for Roxas. But
Yeah, that was for- yeah, yeah, that was for
specifically.
Roxas.
They never stated his name. They just said use it. And
No, but before that, it was the whole deal where like
yeah,
Evan
but
was trying to.
that's where you
not
can
Evan,
infer
Ienzo.
that because Ienzo
Yeah,
was
yeah.
working on Roxas, that they used it for Roxas. But he also just flew in. You know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the part that's like. But I almost don't care. Because
No, I
it's-
don't at all.
It's just like.
I was willing to accept that he just apparated out of Sora when he saw
It's 'cause-
Shion again.
Yeah, exactly. Because the like, this is why I love Nomura. I don't care how he does anything. I really don't. Because the point of the scene is that Roxas cares so much that he just came out of Sora.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, that was... I think that was the point of the scene. I'm gonna be honest.
And that's fucking awesome.
Because there
don't really
there
care
are
about
times
the
where the
explanation.
logistics of it actually matter, but this was... There's a reason that he came out when he did.
I think that just shows what kind of a person I am, because I've never really been super caught up in the mechanics of a story, and I can understand why. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand. Like, to some people that's very important, and it is important.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of makes or breaks if you like Kingdom Hearts or not, because I'm the type of person who just doesn't give a fuck.
Well, if you're able to get
Like,
some, like, emotional or contextual meaning out of a scene, then it's a good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
Because
say, like, I really,
I feel like us being able to pull that from the scene with Roxas means that it was a good, like...
yeah,
Because
I
Shion has
really-
been gone for a very long time, and seeing her again would have probably been the boiling point.
yeah.
So,
And it's-
I thought it was like really because
But there are times
I used
there
to
are
be the
ti-
kind of person that what
sorry, I was gonna say there are times where using the logistics of a story and a world are very important, but there are also times where you have to infer based on context. And we can debate on how Roxas appeared, and I think that they implied it somehow. We talked about it a bit, but I'm willing to accept that was it. Like it was more of an emotional drive rather than vessel/replica thing that made Roxas exist.
yeah because
But they needed a body, but I think they set that up. We just don't know how. But they also needed the heart, which was like in Sora still,
yeah
and it came out with.
It's just like, okay, and when there's the song in this fight against Saix is like, it's okay. This is when Shimamura decides to mix songs together, which is the like genius, like fucking. Okay, so in this song is The Other Promise, Vector to the Heavens, Shion's theme, and Sora's theme all in one. All of those themes are present. And it is so good. It's like mind-blowingly good. I listen to it on a daily basis now. It's like, it's one of my favorite songs to come out of it.
You can people talk about how they used a ton of remixes in this, and the thing is they only make the most sense when you get to this point in the game. And
Well, it's almost like the fact that there are remixes almost just drives the point home that the point of this game is to resolve.
Yeah.
Like, and I like that. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think I would have it any other way at this point.
You can well, the other thing is hearing those motifs again in that arrangement is like one of probably.
And yeah, the arrangement's technically new, so it's like
This is one.
like-
no, yeah, it is. It's like it's already an incredibly meaningful scene, but hearing that song with everyone's themes rolled into one just shows how attached we are to the music of Kingdom Hearts. You could do an entire like video on how Kingdom Hearts' music uses motifs to keep you attached to these characters. Like when you hear certain themes,
I think the music is half the reason that I am attached as much as I am.
Yeah, no, seriously. Seriously, I think me too. It's like Yoko Shimomura, first of all, is like one of the best composers in the industry.
Well, she is my favorite composer.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
She handles motifs and melodies so well. Like, you know, there are other composers that do it well. Uematsu, Koji Kondo, you know. Yoko Shimomura with Kingdom Hearts is some of the best I've seen. She, there's like, you could hear any of these melodies and you immediately know, like why. Fuck, what's the word I'm looking for? God damn it.
I mean, like, they're so recognizable.
Yeah.
Like when you hear, like when you hear the beginning notes to The Other Promise, you know what the song is attached to.
Yeah.
Like you just get it on command. You just know.
Yeah. That's the thing too. The Other Promise, by the way, I believe the Roxas's theme played before that in Kingdom Hearts 2, before his boss. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you hear that, and before, like when they're in Twilight Town, I believe, like in the prologue, in 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you get to the boss way later on, and
the Other Promise is just a vamped up version of his theme.
Yeah. No, yeah. But when you hear those notes, not like you might not remember the theme from before, but when you hear it and when you finish Roxas off, you immediately remember. That's what makes that boss fight so powerful. Well, it's also an amazing boss fight, but that's part of the reason the boss fight is so powerful, because you get into this amazing boss fight with this mysterious figure, and the music is like somber.
Yeah.
That's one
and then
example.
And then this moment is like,
that's everyone.
This moment is incredibly hype. So the music is like, people have actually noted that the Vector to the Heavens part is noticeably more triumphant than it was, because in 358 Days it was like,
yeah,
the melody itself was really
I noticed that too. That's right, because the original theme for Vector to the Heavens was sad because of what it symbolized.
Yeah, and then this one, and the fact that they're mixed together is like some masterpiece level shit, because like it's the reason they're mixed together is because it's Roxas and Shion and Sora, all of their themes are in there, and it's because they're all connected and they're all fighting.
Yeah,
and it's so good,
and they're all at the same tempo too, which is especially good for like Roxas's theme and Vector to the Heavens and stuff. Like those themes run at notably like slower tempos because of their mood, but for this fight it makes complete sense, and they're mixed so we could go on, but like
yeah,
it's one of the, I think it might be my favorite song in the game.
Yeah, I think it is my favorite, because
it represents so much.
Yeah, that was a moment, that might be one of my favorite moments ever. It's like, Jesus Christ, we're here.
Oh, I totally understand. It is an important moment for sure. It is something that people have wanted to see for years, and they finally made it happen.
Oh God. And then, okay. So that happens, and when the fight's over, and all three of them are just there, and Sora leaves. Whew. Oh God. Because I think Axel is like, I should have bought ice cream or something, and then Shion just breaks down, and they all break down.
Yeah.
And then I break down, and they hug. I don't think they could have handled it in a better way. I really don't. I think that was like, they did it.
Yeah.
And they did it. And they did it again. Because then you go to Terra. And they did it again. They fucking did it again.
See, that was when I was like, oh yeah, that's what I've been waiting for. Because I never played 358 over 2. I just watched the movie collection and I was like, what? I don't get, like, I don't really care. But that's because I watched the movie collection, not played the game. So I really wish that if I could change one thing about the way I played Kingdom Hearts, is I would play 358. I would not watch the movie collection, because I still really found a lot of like emotional value in their reunion, but I really found a lot more value in Terra, Ventus, and Aqua finally reuniting. Especially because Terra was like, yeah, I fucked up. So,
yeah, that was
like,
pretty cool too.
Yeah, that fixed everything for me, and I was like, "This." I love that.
I'm pretty sure
moment.
when I heard that line, I forgave Terra. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why when that happened, it made me realize that in Birth by Sleep, he was just really misguided, and I don't like bashing on him so much, because I feel like he didn't like. I just feel like he had a bad hand. I just feel like, 'cause I feel like he fucked up, and the fact that he comes back from it is nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, before we talk about that, I want to talk about Vanitas, because Vanitas is in there, but it like it's not really connected. And I realized too, in Vanitas's theme, they mix in so that for that boss fight, I think they mix in like Rage Awakened.
yep.
I'm a little hazy because
Rage Awakened
to,
is mixed with his theme. That's what I remember.
Yeah, and I think for Vanitas there was like, did Vanitas have his own theme?
Yeah.
Because I killed Vanitas very fast after I killed Terra, so I didn't get to hear it much. But I think it was like Vanitas' theme. I think it had parts of Sora's theme and Ventus' theme as well. I could have sworn, because I think I was listening to it after the fact.
It's the same situation. It depends on which trio you're connected to. Well, if you're connected to both of them, this final level probably killed you on the inside. Like,
yeah.
Because
But anyway,
they handled both
I think
well.
that happened with the musical motifs with Vanitas, but I love the way they treat Vanitas. They don't redeem him. He's just a dickbag till the end, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, well, really, that's all he is. He's just a replica, and he only serves one purpose.
Well, I mean, he's just darkness.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry.
He's the dark part. He's the dark part of Ventus's heart.
That's
all he is darkness. So it kind of makes sense that he's just mean. He doesn't.
I mean,
really,
yeah, he doesn't.
You can't
he isn't
redeem
anything else.
He's just a cunt till the end.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he is, and I don't know why, but I really like that. Because
I think it's because
I
think it's because the game was self-aware that he was just like that's all he was, and you can just kind of revel in that. Really,
I couldn't really see a path where they redeem him. You know,
you don't. I don't think he redeems somebody that exists to be a prick.
And I don't think anybody wanted him to be redeemed.
No.
Nope.
So they handled that well.
I mean, because when the first boss that I defeated was Luke's sword. And then
Don't hurt yourself.
like one by one, I started defeating the other organization members, and then I got to Vanitas, and like at that point they weren't all being redeemed. It was just like they were okay with losing, and then Vanitas is just like he like throws like not a tantrum, but he's just like, yeah, I'm not, like, I don't care. I don't fucking care. I hope you still lose. You guys suck. Like, I'm just like, well, fuck. Like,
It was so
what
cool.
a dick.
Well, and then I like that scene, but then Terra happens.
Yeah.
And first of all, I think it's really cool. There's a fan theory going around for a long time that the Ansem's guardian was Terra, and they confirmed it. And I don't know if Nomura, like, I'm assuming that Nomura just had this idea all along, and the fact that fans came up with a theory is just a testament to how well he foreshadowed it. But the fact that when it happened, like, I don't get into theory crafting with Kingdom Hearts or anything, but that's the one theory that I knew existed, and when it happened, I was like, oh my god, that's like, damn. But it makes so much sense that he would be the guardian.
Yeah.
And oh man. Ventus cries about the promise.
Yeah.
The other promise.
Yeah. And when they're finally together, and then they cry too. Oh, that's another, like, that one got to me too. And I'm not even as attached to that trio specifically, which is just a testament to what they've gone through that I was like, nope,
Yep.
that got to me.
Yeah, exactly.
was just so glad that that happened.
Sorry.
And I should say too that the fights themselves are really fun.
See,
I wish I could have played on Proud though, because when I played it on Standard, they died a little too quickly, and I didn't get to fully experience them all.
yeah.
So I want to go back. I'm on my Proud playthrough, but I haven't gotten to the end yet. I want to fight them for real, because their fights were really cool.
Yeah. The thing is, too...
And fighting them at the same time was really cool,
I mentioned that I
Yeah,
prioritized having a fun time playing the game. When I went into it, like, I really wanted this game to be more of what I liked out of Kingdom Hearts. The final world gave me everything. Like, it gave me what I was looking for, even if, like, I was really, I was in love with everything that they showed me, story-wise. But it was so fun fighting everybody in that. It was such a good time.
I love that they didn't, because with this kind of thing, it would have been so easy for them to just like skimp out and be like, just make them bosses, like whatever. But they have the same, like, it hit me when I got to Vanitas and Ansem and Xemnas and Saïx and like all those bosses, the ones that I remember more. They have not the exact same, I don't want to say exact same, but they have very similar patterns to their original fights. And I was like, oh shit, like, I'm fighting all of them at the same time.
Larxene and Marluxia have very similar DM phases where you can't damage them to when they had in Cage too.
I just like, I love that so much.
Vanitas has almost the exact same moves that he did in Birth by Sleep. So
and that's when that's when I was like, oh shit, like this is, it makes it feel more real and in the moment than if Vanitas was just like swinging a weapon at you randomly or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I love that so much. They actually incorporated like the original movesets.
I love that you just go from fight to fight and the music's different and it's so good, and you fight them and they're like, the fact that you fight them with I wish that you could have like played as Roxas or Aqua or something.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're teammates is good enough, I think. Because they have their own movesets as teammates and they help. And the fact that they're helping in the fight is nice. I'm just glad that Donald and Goofy weren't there, because it would have cluttered everything.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand why they had to put Donald and Goofy out for a while, but and then so that the reunions happen, and then so all the reunions have happened at this point.
Yeah.
And then Xehanort, four Xehanorts.
All 4 Xehanorts.
And this is okay. When you're thinking of like the fights that I remember the most and I loved, I'll be like, okay, so the Roxas moment and the Terra moment and all those moments were good. I think my favorite fight of this segment are the ones where you fight young Xehanort, Xemnas, Ansem, and Xehanort, who throws keyblades at you. And it's playing all of their themes combined. Like, what? Like, it blew my mind a little bit. It's like, oh my god. It
was really cool. I kind of agree with you though that looking back, given that this is 4 Xehanorts, playing on Standard made it a bit too easy.
Yeah.
Because it would have been more... Okay, I'm glad that the difficulty curve in this game is not as high as previous games. At least, maybe I just suck, I don't know. But I found like... Not 2, what was it?
Dream Drop Distance.
Yeah,
That
one
game
of the
got
games.
really hard at the end.
It may have been, it was Dream Drop. Dream Drop Distance, like Ansem with Riku, took me forever to try to beat. I had to go back, get like the balloon spell, and then like the third one, Balloonga, and then come and try to beat him, because that's the only way I could beat him. Again, maybe I just suck, I don't know, but like, this game, like, I like that playing on Standard makes it beatable, and like maybe you'll like die once or twice, but it's fine.
I like that you conceded, by the way.
But I mean, it could have benefited a bit more, just like the feel of the fight, from a slight difficulty boost. But it was still awesome.
It was on Standard though. It was a little bit tough there, because I realized I think I was a little bit underleveled, because They recommend for the Keyblade Graveyard that you be like 40 something. Like,
I was not.
I was like 36, and I think it was like 48 that they wanted or something. 45.
I don't know if I'm just
like
really good, but I was level 37 and I didn't die.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess if you're good at dodging.
Yeah.
I played 2's optional bosses way too much because I had so much fun with them. So I got used to it.
I like those fights. And I like how they resolve.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what young Xehanort was saying, but
See, I was gonna mention, like, we talked about Vanitas being a dick. Young Xehanort, still a dick. He was like, I'm gonna go back and live my life, you're gonna die. I was like, what? Alright.
well, that's like, you realize in that moment, when people go back to their bodies, they don't remember anything. So he goes back and he plays out Xehanort. And that's just kind of funny, that, like, he went through all this and he goes back afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But then, okay, so all that happens. I like the moments with Xemnas and Ansem where they're not redeemed more, like, I think
Their
we
arcs are
already talked-
closed.
Yeah. Their arcs are closed in a cool way.
Mm-hmm. And then Xehanort. The Xehanort.
Okay. This is actually when we get to... I think I have one core complaint with the story overall. And it's that
Kyrie's bait.
Kyrie... Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Uh-huh.
I was going into this game like, okay, I can't wait for Kyrie to get her moment.
Yeah, she's a Keyblade wielder.
She gets a moment.
I think she killed one Heartless
Yeah.
and then died.
Yeah.
And the way that she died is so that Sora could be motivated, which is like the worst way you could do it.
Yeah. She felt really helpless this game, not gonna lie. At first, she was like, we're doing well in our training and like all that, and then
Well, you know what
God knows
fucking
how long.
sucks too is that Lee kind of gets sidelined too. Like he has a moment, but like he like not it's not as bad as Kyrie, but like he doesn't really get to do much either because Xemnas just fucking breaks his keyblade.
Yeah, it's like they did it because this is what I'm saying. Like, why make such a big deal out of like, oh, there's no time in this area. Like, we can just spend eons fucking practicing our keyblade skills, and then they pull them out, and then they're like, Kyrie is like, she's in the cutscenes, she's defenseless. Like she does not know how to hold her own at all. And then Axel is like, who breaks his keyblade again? Xemnas is just like, yeah, he's like attacking him, and Xemnas is like, nope. And then he like taunts him like by stepping on his hand, and like Axel is grabbing at his legs like a toddler, and I'm like, what is this?
Well, that's just like, why did they do Kyrie like that? Why? Yeah. I don't know why.
I think the whole world agrees with you.
I'd be like, you know what they should have done?
Anything?
First of all, why was okay, I get why Kyrie was with Lee. I get it. But Kyrie would have made more sense if Kyrie was fighting like Larxene or Marluxia or somebody less important, because she's not really connected with anybody. So like, or maybe she was fighting Xion because Xion is Sora's memories of Kyrie. That would be kind of interesting. But that doesn't happen. Or maybe, I mean, she did. She technically fought Xion, but did she, like, at the beginning she got taken away by Xemnas?
Yeah. Who was Ansem paired with? Not like at the very end, but before he disappears. Like not the Xehanort fight. The fight where
he was with Xigbar and Riku.
I think she, what's her name? Not Xion, not Naminé. Kyrie should have been there, because I would think that she'd be most connected with Ansem, because like Ansem is the one that like fucked with her the first game.
Yeah, I mean,
but instead she's just like
you could place her in a lot of places. But
yeah, but she shouldn't have been that helpless to where she's just grabbed, taken, and killed like in 5 seconds.
Yeah, she's killed twice actually, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I do not get it. I don't know why they did it. I guess it's the like, she better do stuff in the next game.
Yeah.
Because if she does stuff in the next game, I guess it's warranted a little bit, but it'll still annoy me. Because I was hoping she would do stuff, but she didn't. Anyway, everything else was great though. Like everything else after that, it was fine. Like 'cause they go to Kingdom Hearts and stuff. And in Scala Kylum, I do kind of wish you could explore more of Scala Kylum.
Yeah.
But
no, it's cool.
It was a good.
I wish because there was concept art of that world beforehand, and I was so excited to see it. I was like, what are they? Maybe they're gonna use it in 3, and then they did, and you really can't do much considering its scale. It's kind of a waste.
Yeah, I thought you'd be able to like explore more of it.
Sorry if I'm a little quiet. It's because I'm tired.
So you do so this is where you get to his 13 things, people.
Yeah.
Where you basically just fight them in cool armor.
Yeah.
I like that fight. I like all these fights at the end.
Dude, yeah.
The 3
I like the part when you get knocked out, and if you're playing the PS4 version, which you should be, like the controller,
Donald and
you hear
Goofy.
Goofy and Donald through the controller to wake you up.
I actually have a story about that. So at the final Xehanort fight, when like you're fighting him on like fucking weird, I don't even know where you are. You're like in some like it's ascended plane like somewhere, which is pretty dope for final fight.
Yeah.
But I like when I don't know why, but I died a lot. I think it really was because I was underleveled and I barely leveled my keyblades.
I think that was a big factor in why I succeeded, because I was leveling my keyblades like crazy.
Wait. You can level your keyblades?
It's an option in at the Moogle. You can synthesize.
Yeah, and synthesis.
Oh boy. That would have been nice to know.
Okay, did you struggle with Xehanort too?
Like the final Xehanort?
Yes.
Not too much. I died like twice.
Oh, God damn. I don't know. I died a lot because I don't know. I don't get it because when you're at Final Xehanort, okay, the first phase of Final Xehanort's fine. Like it's when you're on like the thing, but it's when you raise up into the air. I had so much trouble with it because first of all, he is like probably the best boss in the game. First off, he's like my favorite, mechanically. Because he just fucking comes at you. You have to keep blocking him like a bunch. You have to block him, and then sometimes he'll fake you out and come at so you can't just spam the button. So you gotta learn his timing. You gotta like hit him when he's open, and then like he fucking like turns you into anti-form, and you gotta get your light back. So he forces you into anti-form, and that's where I was like, oh god, because you have to You have to contend with the fact that you can't heal yourself. You have to block him at all the right times, and he has new moves in that form that are a little more devastating. You have to dodge the light pillars, and when you get out of it, when you finally do the reaction command, you have to then learn that you have to block all of his 13, and then after blocking, you have to dodge the laser.
That's what killed me twice.
And I couldn't get past that because I had to keep coming back to learn that. Because like I had trouble at first getting through anti-form, and then every time I'd get through it, I'd get to that part and I'd be like, oh god, I have to learn something. Oh god, like how do I?
Yeah, it was really hard because the first time I died, I was like, okay, I guess I just have to block, and then after that, I blocked them, but I just couldn't dodge in time the beam that he throws at you.
I should clarify that this isn't a complaint. I actually really love that.
No, yeah. It was just hard.
Yeah.
I just don't know how, Liam, I don't know how you didn't like struggle with it at all.
What can I say, man? I just, I'm good, better than you.
But I love all of that. I love when he's warping reality and shit. That was really cool. When he's in his armor. And the music is like a remix of Dive Into the Heart and his own theme.
Hearing Dive Into the Heart at the very end of this like saga that Nomura has created is amazing.
Oh, the music. I love the music.
Again, Shimomura's music is symbolic of how fucking far you've come.
It is so good. there are people who are unhappy with how it concluded.
Yeah, well,
And I just don't.
fuck
I
them.
just. I mean, like, fair. Opinions. But, like, I just don't get it. Because it ticked all of my beats. I was like, regardless, like, aside from Kairi and Namine, mostly Kairi, because at least Namine got resolution.
Yeah.
But, like, aside from that, everything else was, like, perfect. This is how I always wanted it to happen. I didn't need, like, elaborate scenes with them. I just needed them all to resolve.
Yeah.
And it happened that way. Even the fucking, like...
Literally everyone gets a happy
Even
ending.
Xehanort.
Yeah, including
Even
Xehanort.
Even Xehanort is, like... Because his goal all along, like, even in Birth by Sleep, it was stated that he wanted to recreate the world so that he could better control... Xehanort is the perfect antagonist. But, you know, the reason is...
You better be
because
careful.
he's the perfect antagonist for this series, I'll say, because the reason why is because he believes that he can do it all on his own. And when I realized that, it blew my mind.
My friends are
I was
my
like,
power.
because he thinks he can do it all on his own. And that's like the antithesis. That's the reason why he's the antagonist. It's so simple, but it makes so much sense. And seeing, like, him and Ericus coming back in the first place was really cool.
Oh, when he like came out of Terra's heart, or Terra's body, I guess, I was like, oh, that's like... When Xehanort said you sly fox, I was like, what? And then he came out and I was like, oh shit, like, the game never stops surprising you.
Yeah. And I as silly as it sounds, Xehanort... the final person Sora had to save was Xehanort, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because Xehanort, like, originally he was not a bad guy. And that they show that a lot in this game. That he was, like, he formed, like, almost, like... He formed a bond with Ericus. And, like, he wasn't always the way that he was. And his goals were not always so corrupt. It's just that over time, he kind of became the evil that he wanted to prevent in the world by creating it anew. And it's a really nice arc. It's a really, like... I'm glad that they concluded it that way. I'm glad that, like, the final conflict to resolve is that Xehanort's like, I need to lead the new world. And Sora's like, no. We're human, you know? Like, we'll decide our own fucking fate.
Yeah. I kind of was a bit... not under... Like... I kind of, like, sighed for a second when he was, like... he gave the whole speech that every villain who wants to remake the world gives, where he's like, oh, the world was purged into darkness, what a waste. I was like, really? Like, I was really happy, or I was really into Xehanort when he was like, his motive was just, I want to see what happens when I recreate Kingdom Hearts. But then at the end, he was like, I just want to recreate the world and make it a better place and whatever. And then Sora has to, like, counter with, like, no, the world's already good enough. And it's just like, But other than that, like, the ending was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it,
I
right?
feel that way about it. Well,
Well,
dude, I was gonna say, how did Ericus appear? But honestly, if the reason Kairi's heart was, like, Kairi went through Sora in the first game, and that's how, you know, that shit happened. Maybe when Terra literally killed Ericus, Ericus's heart traveled into...
yeah. I mean, like, if you want to get technical, Xehanort killed him, but Terra weakened him, and that essentially killed him.
Yeah. I mean, I took it as that Ericus knew he was going to die, put his heart into Terra, and then I guess just because they're in Kingdom Hearts, people's hearts can, like, become people? I don't know.
I mean, at that point, I think Nomura just...
He was just like, give me a break.
Let me have this. Even Xehanort needs a break.
And then, I guess now we're into the
future of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, so Sora's like, I'm gonna go find Kairi. Well, first of all, let's get to my favorite scene in the game.
Can we talk about
No
how
joke.
perfect the ending was?
My favorite scene in the game is when everybody's on Destiny Islands and they're playing
Yup.
together.
Yep.
That is the resolution that I've always wanted. that now
Yeah.
all of them are friends together. Even fucking Hayner pens in a letter on Destiny Islands. Like, Jesus Christ. It's so good. Like, Ventus has a moment where he, like, plays with Donald.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, I wanted this for years.
It's the perfect ending that...
No, I like
if you just...
I like that it pans up after all that to Sora and Kairi on the tree. And they're like holding hands. I verbally reacted to them holding hands. I was like, this, oh my god, finally. And then they're like, they look at each other, and then the depth of field goes a little odd on Sora, and I thought it was just an effect from the sun. And then, you know how in that part in the song in Don't Think Twice, where the lyric, I don't remember the lyric, but she's like, you know?
Yeah, great.
Do you know that part?
No?
It's like, it goes into the chorus after that. It's like, it's out of place for the song. Well, not really out of place, but it's nothing, lyrically nothing else sounds like that. And I now understand what she was doing.
Abdullah, it's the part before she says, I want you for a lifetime. You know that part?
It's in the second verse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that, and then as soon as she hits the bottom of that note, Sora poofs. He just evaporates.
It's okay.
Does that mean Kyrie's there though?
It implies Kyrie is there. I don't know why else she would be there.
So why the fuck is Sora not there?
No, hold on.
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing. When I saw Sora disappear, I screamed. I was so upset.
Well, that's
Like,
actually
why?
That's part of the reason why I think it's my favorite scene. Because it dawned on me, like, okay, so that first of all, everyone together, that made me very happy. So Sora, right? His goal is to save everyone, right? He's connected to hearts and he saves everyone. Isn't it fucking poetic? Everybody is saved except for him. I just love that.
Okay, now this is... Let me now explain why I was so sure that Sora would die before this game came out. Because of what you just said. Because his goal was to save everyone, and putting all of the logistics of the like story and how he couldn't save Ventus without killing, like without dying or whatever, like putting all of that aside, it would have thematically made sense for him, like you said, like for him to... It would have been cool that the only person he couldn't save was himself, but instead he lived, he got a happy ending, and then they're like, no, he's actually not here. He's like, he's alive, he got his happy ending, but he's also like not happy with everyone else for some reason. I was just
that
like,
Ventus part didn't dawn on me for a while, and now it makes even more sense that they would give him a happy ending only to rip your heart out.
who, Sora?
Yeah, they gave Sora that happy ending. Everybody got one, and then because Sora couldn't, like, had to do that, boom, he's gone.
But what did... But he didn't...
Okay, so what I'm assuming... This is actually just coming to me now. I can't believe I just realized this. Okay. Young Xehanort's talking about how Sora doesn't have much time left, or whatever the fuck he said before he left. And then, after that, he's like, I'm gonna go find Kairi. And Mickey says a line that is exactly like what I think young Xehanort said to him too. He's like, don't go using the power of waking recklessly, because it's dangerous. And what I think happened is that, for whatever reason, him saving Kairi, like, trapped him somewhere. And I think that's what happened, and I think that'll be explained in...
Don't say
should
that,
I utter the name Kingdom Hearts 4?
Don't say 4.
What if Sora is the villain in Kingdom Hearts 4?
Stop. No, it's
Let it be known.
Nomura has
Let it be known.
stated in the past that Sora will always be the protagonist, though, so I don't know.
Shit. I don't know. I'll
And the secret movie kind of also is like...
I wouldn't... I don't know. I feel like it could... I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
What I like...
And I mean, Sora is my favorite character, so obviously that...
You know who my favorite character is, Dan? Zigbar.
Ooh.
Are we gonna get into that now?
I mean, we might as well.
Secret Okay, no, it's not the secret movie, it's the epilogue.
Zigbar is Lushu.
Oh my god. What the
They really
fuck?
can't give us a break, can they?
Like, wow. That got to me. That was, what the fuck? That was my
I also
what?
screamed at that too, I recall.
I was really glad I was there for
I was
that
like, oh
one.
shit, it's the dude from back cover, and then he took the hood off. Oh god.
Oh my god, what the fuck? And it excites me that the foretellers are gonna be the next villains because they got jack shit in terms of characterization and back cover, and I'm glad that they're probably gonna flesh them out now.
Wait, why would villains?
Well, that's what it implied, is that that when Ericus broke the fourth wall, and was like, hey, there's a new game, and he put down 7 darknesses, I think.
Oh no!
And they all had the symbols of the foretellers.
But I like them. Oh.
You're right. Okay, I said this to Liam too, but all of us are on a blank slate now. It's so funny. We're all looking forward to it together now. We're all, because it's a new story arc, so we're all looking forward to it at the same time now.
Which means we'll all be waiting 10 years this time.
I don't think it'll take. I hope it won't take that long.
Don't. You really don't know. Because
No, now he's working on FF7 remake, and God knows how long that's gonna take.
Please put somebody else on Final Fantasy. Please, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
Whatever.
First of all, I want Final Fantasy VII remake to come out, but I also want Kingdom Hearts to come out.
Yeah.
If he's working on both, it's not neither will.
No, yeah, that's like if you tasked one man to direct both Breath of the Wild 2 and Mario Odyssey 2. But except it wasn't Mario Odyssey 2, it was like Mario Infinite this is a Tesseract, explore it. And it's like, hey, you have to make these in 3 years.
Now that we're talking about the ending, can they please just get rid of Maleficent and Pete? Because they, the whole game, I was like, oh, now they're gonna find the box. And then they just don't. And then at the end, you see them, and they just walk away. And I'm like,
I mean,
leave. Why are you here?
They found the box.
As characters. Yeah, but what are they gonna, they are the most
Also,
insignificant.
I love how we don't find out what's in the box. It's just
what was that theory on Reddit way back when back cover came out? It might be obsolete.
I remember reading that.
I saw a lot of memes that Kingdom Hearts was in the box. And that amused me. I did see a legit theory that
It's Walt Disney's severed head.
that made sense, where Sora would find the box in some point, and then there'd be sea salt ice cream in it,
Jesus Christ.
and it would make him realize how to save Roxas or some
No,
shit.
I would not have been okay with that. I would not have been okay with that. No, not at all.
That's it.
Why the hell would the Master of Masters put sea salt ice cream in a box for Sora?
What? That's it.
Oh, God.
He predicted Sora would be born. And then he was like, okay, this is going to happen. And
Well, he has the Book of Prophecies. He knows he knows everything that happened.
oh god, that's right. Oh god. Dan.
I also don't fully know what Lushu's role is. Or Zig.
This man's is going to be a crazier villain than Xehanort.
Dude, I am so happy at the prospect of Zigbar being a main antagonist now,
Yeah.
because I've always loved
I
him.
love
And if he
Zigbar.
really is gonna be the
He's my
if
favorite.
he really is gonna be the if he's gonna be the main villain now, I am so on board for that.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
See, that's difficult for me, because Xehanort was always the villain that I was like, he's a villain. He's supposed, I didn't hate him. I was just like, he's just a villain. He does bad things. Zigbar, I genuinely do not like as a character because he's such a dick. So for him to be the main villain now that's not great for me, because I'm just gonna be more invested now than ever.
I just think he's funny.
He is, but like, oh god, that ending, I was just like, oh,
Also,
great.
I don't know if he's like confirmed main villain because I like.
Well, he's one of the 7.
Yeah, but you'd assume that they're setting that up, but like, I don't know what is his role. I don't understand. I think in like the mobile game, it said that his role, like he told somebody that it was to watch.
No,
But, like I guess he has a different role.
well, we don't know.
Wait,
his
what
role.
happened to his...
Exactly. But
No,
like
no,
the
well,
role.
we do kind of. It was just to do whatever he did so far, but we don't know what the reason behind that was.
Weren't there other people we didn't know? I need to watch back cover again because
Yeah.
I've forgotten a lot about
I
it.
wonder what happened.
That's one of those movies that I actually wish was 3 hours long
I don't.
because they can't cram it all in an hour because I just forgot about it.
See, they should.
But I guess if they're just gonna expand upon it in the future, I don't mind that much.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I would have. I was gonna say like they should have made a game out of it or something, but they're gonna. That's what the next. However, who knows how long, how many years will be.
Also,
about,
let's talk about the secret movie because I can. There's actually a fairly elaborate story behind what's going on.
I didn't understand it at all.
Yeah,
All I recognized
I didn't
was,
think you
like,
would.
It's called like Yozora, which is the place from or the game from fucking Toy Box, and I was like,
Yozora is a character from Verum Rex. So what
Okay.
they're doing is, assumedly, they're putting Verum Rex in the next game. And also, do you remember Neku and all them?
Yeah.
So the world ends with you was teased at the same time as Verum Rex, because there's a 104 in Shibuya in the world ends with you, but in real life apparently there's a 109. So 104 is something unique to the world ends with you, and that was in the secret movie. So Sora, I think Sora and Riku are in different places. I think Sora's in the world ends with you, and Riku is in Verum Rex. And Verum Rex is itself. All right, you know Final Fantasy 15?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Originally, it was Final Fantasy Versus 13. And Nomura created the character of Noctis. He was originally tasked with making that game, but they took him off eventually, and it became Final Fantasy 15. And he's so broken up about it because he's stated in interviews that Noctis and Sora are like his babies. And Noctis was like wrenched away from him because the project was wrenched away from him. Verum Rex is like a sly like jab at the fact that he never got to make Final Fantasy 15 because it looks exactly like it. Not like Yozora, that guy, looks exactly like Noctis. Like he has the same haircut too. And this isn't like some crackpot theory because at some point, you know, piano melody plays at some point. It is an exact, like it's a leitmotif or whatever that how you pronounce that.
Mm-hmm.
It is from a Final Fantasy 15 theme. Like that piano thing is from like the main theme of Final Fantasy 15. So he's very bitter about what happened. Like he is so bitter that Square wouldn't let him make that game, so he's just gonna put it in Kingdom Hearts because he wants to do it still. And the city looks like the same city, Insomnia. So like,
I wonder if he's going, because when you told me this, I was like, I was actually really happy for him, but this makes me wonder if he'll request to be taken off of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I feel like he might.
I'm worried that he'll get fired if he asks.
Couldn't
Well,
this
they would
be for...
never fire Nomura. Nomura's like one of their best directors.
That's true.
Couldn't this be for like DLC?
No, there's no way.
No.
Like if it was, that would be cool, but I don't know why would they do that.
I guess not. Yeah.
It's most definitely to tease another game. Like he said, they might make a bigger DLC for KH3.
Mm-hmm.
They said if they were gonna make DLC, that it would be substantial.
But would it be story relevant? No.
I doubt it.
No, right?
I don't know what they would do. He's not confirmed that they're making one. He said if they do it. Because he even said that he wants to focus on the next game rather than making a DLC.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that if they did it, that it would be a bigger one. He doesn't like the cosmetic stuff. He'd rather just do it like an expansion. But I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't think the secret movie is a DLC. Maybe it is, but it'd be a pretty big DLC if he wants to do everything he did with Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And also, like, people are theorizing that, like, is this a break away, like, from doing, like, how much Disney are they gonna still do? If they're outright teasing stuff that's like, I don't know if Verum Rex and Shibuya from The World Ends With You are just gonna serve as original locations along with the Disney worlds. I'd imagine that's maybe what they're doing. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So this, I guess... Okay, the one thing I said I would bring up later, which is now, is the way they handle Kingdom Hearts story and Disney stories. I really, 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 really hope that in the future, they do not save it all for the end. Because at this point, I'm just playing the games for the end, and that's, like, it was okay with me for this game once I got to the end. But before that, I was like not having
I think it's going to be a bit
too
different now
much.
because it's a new arc.
I hope.
I hope. Like, but I don't know if I hope, because, like, I felt like it made the climax stronger.
Yes.
Like,
But
so I'm like conflicted about it. I don't know.
I am conflicted too, only with this game though. With every other game, I have always been like, why?
Yeah,
What am I doing?
With
Like
the
fucking
future,
saving
yeah,
Christmas.
actually,
like,
with the future, they probably should not do that.
yeah, because like saving Christmas in Halloween Town, or like going on trips with Captain Jack Sparrow is just like whoa. Like I don't care. So they really need to get better. Like they need to pace their stories a lot
Either
better
that or make
in
the
future.
Disney worlds important to the plot this next arc.
Or that, yeah. But I really would not have.
I mean,
I would not
the thing
like
is,
it
the
if they did
villains
that
had like
again.
an allegiance in the first game, and I kind of miss how they tied them together.
Mm-hmm. But like that went nowhere. in
No,
the
it
end.
didn't. No, in the context of the first game, it did.
It did, yeah, but not.
They just
in the
forgot.
grand scheme of things.
Actually, you know what? Rechain stringed you along pretty well, considering it was a.
No, yeah, that game was good. Yeah. In terms of that, not in terms of.
They
other
need to
things.
remember that. I think this new arc is like a clean slate in terms of writing. I think they can do it.
Yeah. I
I'm
really with this
very
game, I think it benefited from having a
Yeah, that's cool too.
climax that was just all in the end. But I really hope
I
they
don't even
do that
necessarily
again,
hate
because-
it. I just think that it would benefit if they tied it to the plot.
Yeah, I
Oh my
know
god, that would be
like
I'm sorry, like in every respect, if they did that, that would make it my favorite Kingdom Hearts game.
because it would just be like so much
Yeah.
better. Like I don't know. By the time I got to Pirates and Big Hero 6, especially Pirates, but that's just because I didn't like that world in general. I was like, I'm just tired. Like I just want to get to the end. Like come on, nothing's happened.
Well, this is a
like,
weird, like, it's a weird place to be for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a place where I don't know what's going to happen in a while. Because for Kingdom Hearts 3, I was like, okay, these things need to happen, and they happened. Now it's like, whatever happens is just up in his head. I don't know what's in
Yeah.
his head. So, it's kind of cool.
I mean, 2025, we'll find out, I guess.
That's when Black Ops 2 takes place, guys. Do you think we're gonna have a Black Ops
Crossover.
2 world?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, there was one other thing I needed to mention. So, Final Fantasy in this game is almost non-existent. And
Yes.
That was the last thing I wanted to talk about.
I don't care. I don't need them to add new characters, but it is very strange that Leon is not there, Cloud is not there, Aerith, Yuffie, or Sephiroth. I don't know why Sephiroth is not there, especially.
I was torn when I looked that up.
Because I think everybody expected Sephiroth to be in the
Yeah.
game, but he's not.
I'm salty about that, actually.
I mean, I'm gonna say something that might piss both of you off, but was there room for that? I didn't really feel like there was room for
But
that
like,
in this
it's
game.
like, I don't think they needed to be in like the final thing, but like,
Yeah,
they
but-
were integral to 1 and 2. Like, there were moments where, like, because I don't know why they weren't in this, you know?
Maybe
like,
there was, I feel like there was going to be a visit to Hollow Bastion that was scrapped.
Yeah, I just don't know why they didn't at least appear. You know what I mean? Like, because they were integral to 1 and 2. Like, they had a lot of moments in those games. I don't know why they're just not there. Especially Sephiroth, because Sephiroth was almost like tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Sephiroth and Cloud. Well, because Cloud just comes with Sephiroth, I guess. But like Sephiroth would have been cool to have, but the others I didn't really care that they were gone. I didn't even notice that they were gone, honestly, until you brought it up. But that's just probably
because they were there from the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, how did they
So it's
just
just
how
weird
did
that
they
they
just
just weren't there.
disappear? Like,
Yeah, they didn't do anything. They didn't help at all.
Well, because I think the story just shifted away from them. Like, what? I can't think of a moment in the story where they would have been able to help. Because it's all focused on, like, the realm of darkness and the power of waking. And if it's not that, then it's the
I don't
Disney
need them
worlds.
to do much. I just wanted at least a scene where they, like,
I guess.
were there.
Yeah.
Because at the very least, I don't know, it's... Because they were a lot bigger to, like,
Mhm.
Sora in general, and I don't get it. I don't,
Yeah.
like... Sephiroth's the one that gets to me. Because I think everybody thought Sephiroth would be in it,
Yeah.
but he's not. And that
I
kinda
just wanted a
makes me sad.
remix, honestly, of his song.
But I think that's it.
I think that's pretty much everything. If not everything.
Beat this dead horse. For all that it's worth.
beat this
He milked
beat
it.
this dead Sora.
Well, he's not dead.
He died, but he's not dead.
Yeah.
I still think he may be a villain in the future, but
You know what,
see.
Abdullah? I'm sure he will be.
I bet Haley Joel Osment will voice him until he's like 50 years old.
Have you guys ever swapped urethras?
oh god.
I do it because it's my
love that.
job. It's actually really, really important. Unlike your job, which could be done by a Roomba. I love that video.
Sora is still my favorite character, and I am sad that he is not there.
He's there. He's just not there.
He's just there in spirit.
I'm sad that
Quite-
he can't be
quite
happy,
literally.
but it makes me angry that it is poetic.
He was happy for a moment.
It makes me angry that I'm okay with it.
It makes me angry that I'm
I
angry.
mean, we'll find out eventually.
Well, you know,
I thought
Abdullah, that's why I kept dodging your death question, because I realized it made a lot of sense, and I didn't really want to
It
acknowledge
made
it.
a lot of sense. That's true.
that reminds me of, oh god, this was like years ago when we did the Freedom Planet playthrough, and I kept asking if I don't even remember her name.
He
but
kept
if-
asking if Mila died.
Yeah, I was like, she dies, doesn't she? And you'd just be like, so this part of the game is really fun because this, and I'd just be like, what the fuck? Like, answer my question. And then she died, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Well, I hate that, because I don't know what I'm supposed to say. When somebody
But I don't
asks
know.
me if somebody dies and they really did die, I'd be like, I don't know.
So just be like, I don't
Actually,
know. Just
Dan,
be like, or just lie.
You
Be
were
like,
really
no.
good at keeping secrets this time around when I was playing, and I was like, you know, it sucks that I don't get to hear Mark Hamill anymore because Ericus is dead. And he was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, you were like,
They unfortunately couldn't bring
we're
Leonard.
talking about Mark Hamill.
Yeah, no, it was Leonard
Yeah.
Nimoy first, and then we were talking about voice actors that couldn't come back. And I was like, yeah, it sucks that we can't hear Mark Hamill. And he was like, yeah, he's not in this one.
Well, you backed me into a corner, to be fair, because you were like,
I didn't even know.
you were like,
you were really
you-
good.
You asked me, you were like, did Ericus show up in this game? And I'm like, he does, but I just had to
No, you were
lie,
like, yeah, just
because
in flashbacks, and he doesn't speak. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
And it was true because they showed a flashback to Birth by Sleep that somebody talked over. So I was like, yeah, but he's not in there. Yeah, I couldn't say yet because I mean, what am I supposed to say? Because I just had to
You were
lie.
really
I'd
good
be
at
like,
keeping
yeah,
the
no,
secret,
he's not
though.
in this game. I hate it when people ask me those questions. Well, it's
Yeah.
done.
That was
okay.
And you know, there's one final thing.
The
I wanted to
lyrics,
say
by the way,
about
the
it.
lyrics for "Don't Think Twice" make sense to me now. After playing, man, that's why I love the. Well, Simple and Clean still is questionable, but Sanctuary and Don't Think Twice mean a lot more in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. So I'm sure there are people. This was a game to conclude things.
Yeah.
I think it did that pretty well. But there are people, doubtless, who are probably like, why did they have to set up stuff still in the game that is supposed to conclude it?
Yeah.
But for me, I think there's almost like a meta-textual level to this that's like, this game like is almost like closing a chapter of my life. And it's almost, in a way, it's about closing out the threads that were still lingering, but still leaving room for more to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I really loved that. I loved that it still teased more to come. Like, it's like the ride isn't over. Like, the story arc is the one that we like, and it happened well and it concluded, but I am glad that it's still going, because I don't want it to just be over forever.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
The thing is, this series, if it were to ever end, it would be able to have a good ending, because it's profitable for Disney, but it's not something they can capitalize on, you know? They can let Nomura do his thing, same with Square, and then when it ends, it ends.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often. But it's a Disney property. That is exceedingly rare.
Well, there's also, this game has sparked discussions about copyright law and stuff, and how Disney cannot, like, Disney just cannot keep, like, there is no way that they can keep Mickey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he enters the public domain soon, doesn't he?
Yeah, like, they have tried. They have delayed the inevitable, but they can't keep doing it forever.
Oh, you're right.
And
yeah.
And
When
Kingdom Hearts is almost like a foreshadowing of that. Like, the fact that Mickey will enter public domain is kind of fucking insane. Like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
There was a review that I read talking specifically about that. That was really interesting. The fact that Kingdom Hearts is, like, not shackled by anything.
He will be public
like,
domain
it's like
in
a-
2024.
Yeah. Like, what is the world where Mickey is public domain? What is that world?
So if he's public domain, does that just mean, like, anyone can use him?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's so
The
weird.
way our copyright law works is that you don't have access to it forever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very long time, so usually it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But now it's starting to matter.
That's so strange to think
Yeah.
about.
It's like when, well, now we have, like, is it Journey to the West that's public domain as well? It's one of the,
Is it?
the monkey one that inspired Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
With Mickey Mouse entering public domain, that is 96 years after he was created. In 2024,
Yeah.
that is, I just want to put that in perspective. We're about to live in a world where the face of Disney, the face of Walt himself, will be free to use. And that's really interesting to me. I can't wait to see what happens.
I kind of wonder if they might distance themselves from the Mickey brand, just to, like, not be associated with anything bad that happens with it. That's, like, really,
Well,
really disaster level thinking, but, like,
Mickey isn't the only face of Disney anymore, and it really feels weird to say that.
yeah.
Well, they probably notice that they're not going to have him forever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they haven't used him in anything recently, other than, like,
they
this.
can technically still use Mickey.
No, yeah, I know. It's just anyone else can as well. So I'm saying is like maybe they might distance themselves from the brand in these, because I mean they maybe, for all we know, they could have started doing that because they haven't used him in anything recently. Like there were those Mickey Mouse cartoons a while back, but that was like it.
These
So in the next Kingdom Hearts, Mickey can say fuck.
These depictions of Mickey Mouse that are gonna come out are going to be really weird. But the thing is, we've grown so attached to this depiction of Mickey that seeing him anywhere else, especially in Disney parks, like, can I reiterate that Disney parks are very centered on Mickey. Like, Mickey is a huge part of... Hidden Mickeys are, like, a huge part of the park, too. So, I know we're getting off topic, but that's really insane to think about.
It's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
It's vaguely related. You know what I think? That what's going to happen to Mickey Mouse? I'm going to post this in the chat. This is what Mickey Mouse is going to become.
So, for those of you listening on Spotify or whatever, this is the...
Oh, wow.
It's the image of the man pointing a pistol in his basement at a man in a Mickey Mouse costume.
It's the one, you know how the memes are going around? There are memes going around about how Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3 came out almost on the same day. And people caption that with this, and it's so funny.
Well, that's a creepy face.
It's like when Resident Evil 2 comes out the same week as Kingdom Hearts 3, and they post this image, and that just gets to me.
Speaking of fun PS4 controller features, the light bar on your controller is your health bar in Resi 2.
Oh
yeah. I gotta.
I'm still playing Resi 1.
Oh man, I'm in a
gotta get
huge
that
Resi
game.
kick. We should co-op the bad ones.
The bad ones.
Resi 5 and 6, they are entertaining as hell. They are really bad.
I played a little bit of Resi 5 actually. Okay, we should probably just end it before we start.
Yeah. Anyway.
Talking about Resident Evil.
They came out the same day. I mean, or same week.
Resident Evil, Kingdom Hearts 4.
Oh.
Damn.
Reconnect.
Reconnect. Oh god.